I have a six-pack of Golden Monkey. Oh, boy.
Just hanging out.
Golden Monkey? Oh shit.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Dude, you're gonna be ripped by like beer 3.
What time is it now? Yeah, in about 45 minutes.
I
mean,
drunk Aric is very fun, Aric.
It is. It is fun.
Oh boy. Well, we'll see him in about an hour, probably.
Not even that.
Did you pregame?
I pregame.
Oh, perfect.
Okay.
And I've been smoking weed, so yeah, I'm off to a good.
Hey, well,
I like to hit the
cheers,
ground.
buddy.
Yeah, right.
Here's to feeling good.
Yeah.
How I deal with doing
Yeah, Golden Monkey's a good beer. Man, it's dangerous.
Yeah, it sneaks up on you real bad.
It really does.
Next thing you know, like, I can't get out of this chair.
Yeah.
Do you really think you have a
Oh wait,
chance
this is
against
my
us,
back
Mr.
hurts.
Cowboy?
Well,
Get your toe
get out of the
like
chair
say,
because of
do
Iron
with
Man
the
up
follow.
I like those odds.
Not quite sitting right.
Jarvis.
The
Yeah.
Smoking Nerds Podcast.
Jarvis is all jammed up there.
3, 2, 1. And we're live. It's the Smoking Hot Nerds
Oh
podcast.
yeah.
Streaming live from Facebook, YouTube, and in about 6 years we'll be on Apple Podcasts if I get my act together. Just kidding. Just kidding. We're on Apple Podcasts. We're on Spotify Podcasts. We're pretty much anywhere podcasts can be heard, so find us. Tonight we're excited. We're excited for a lot of reasons. We have our dear friend Aric Abraham on the show.
So excited to be here, guys. Really, this is awesome.
Welcome, Aric. How you doing? It's been a while, man.
It has been a while. Doing well, keeping my sanity somehow during this pandemic and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Got a decent amount of work going for myself right now, so
Nice.
that's keeping me busy.
Good. That's what we want to hear.
Yeah, I'm good.
Awesome.
I'm good. How are you guys?
Good, man. Really good. Well, we're excited to see. So the reason, obviously, we wanted to have you on before this, but you just shot Bat in the Sun's Dying is Easy, just came out, and in a week, it had 4.5 million views, which is like
Insane.
Skyrocket, man.
that is insane.
It's insane.
What's that
It
like? I mean,
truly
it's
is.
like, have you ever done anything that had that much exposure before?
Well, yes and no. Like, so I've shot 2 other projects for Bat in the Sun, and worked on a few others in lighting capacity. But the other 2 projects that I shot for them were at like 4.2 million and then 4.5 or like 4.4 something million. But that took months and months and months to accumulate. They've been on YouTube for a few years. And so when it just went through the roof, like day one, it was just like, holy crap, like this is, I just couldn't wrap my brain around it. I knew it was going to be, I knew it was going to hit the fans, but I didn't know it was going to hit that hard and that fast.
Yeah.
But it's been overwhelmingly positive reviews and response. And, it makes me happy knowing that the fans dig it, because that's what our ultimate goal was just make something that the fans dig, because we're fans and we wanted to make a movie that we wanted to watch,
Definitely.
and it's just awesome that it got received as well as it did.
Yeah. People are dying over it. It's like, I've never seen anything blow up quite that fast, honestly. I mean, Bat in the Sun must just have like a massive fan base already, huh?
Yeah, they definitely do. I mean, they have 200,000 followers on Instagram, I think.
Okay.
And then and that number went up, a few thousand over the last week and change. Same thing with YouTube. They have 2.5 million subscribers.
Wow.
Or they just hit 2.5.
Awesome.
That's a lot.
They've been doing this stuff for a long time, and they really have a strong fan base for all their projects. So they always typically get a good response, but this one had a lot of hype and it had a lot of steam before we even got started, because it was an Indiegogo campaign. And they were raising money for this back in like 2019.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
And we were supposed to start shooting it in March 2020.
Right.
Whoops.
Yeah.
Why didn't you?
Yeah.
Tell us why.
Few reasons.
I mean, Arkham seems like everyone can stay 6 feet apart,
Yeah, they got the plexiglass and all that. So, but yeah, it was obviously delayed because of the pandemic, and for the first few months of it, filmmakers weren't really deemed essential workers, so we couldn't legally work. Especially with SAG actors, like there's Kevin Porter and a bunch of other people in our cast are SAG, so we had to wait until it was kosher with them before we could do anything, which was like July.
Wow.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
I mean, it sucks, but it's not bad.
Yeah. But
Not the worst.
they had a successful Indiegogo campaign. They raised something like, I think initially they raised like $70,000, and then they raised a few thousand more after we had shot the first 5 days of principal photography, because they wanted to make the film longer and just make it better in general, more VFX, that type of thing. And so it had a lot of groundswell because of that, because all these people that put their money into it are like, when is this thing coming out? And like talking about it, like there were people making fan-made posters for the film from our behind-the-scenes stills. Like there was already like a lot of steam, so in a way that was a lot of pressure, because I didn't want to let them down, for my contribution of film. It's a collaborative effort. There's a lot of cogs in the machine, but for my part, I was like, don't fuck this up. It's like, I can't fuck this up.
Aric, you can't say fuck on the show.
Oh,
just kidding.
Just kidding.
Wait, is there a rating system for podcasts?
Matt's just there with his beep button ready.
I just hit a beep.
We were gonna stream on Disney Plus tonight, but
you blew it.
Sorry.
Thanks.
Sorry, fellas.
Thanks a lot.
Well,
another letter in the mail.
They're cool with drinking. I mean, what the hell?
Well, yeah, Disney loves drinking.
I'm having cider.
Yeah, cider.
It's 3%. It's
Carbonated
barely
apple
there.
juice.
Yeah.
Sorry, continue.
But yeah, so like I didn't want to let them down, and I didn't want to let everybody else in the crew down, just because everybody was working so hard to make this thing. And when we first started going into production, Aaron and Sean, the father and son directing duo, they were like, this is kind of going to be our swan song. We're kind of ready to move on from Batman related properties, unless of course we can get the rights, like doing something for Warner Brothers or CW, that type of thing, or HBO Max. So this was going to be like their grand finale, and so I really didn't want to let them down.
So no pressure, right?
Yeah, no pressure whatsoever. So it was a big challenge compared to the last two projects that I had done, but I had set a goal for myself. Like, I have to outdo myself from those previous projects, and it feels like we did, and feel really proud of that.
Yeah.
So what does a goal like that look like for, like, being not in that position or not in that specific field? When you say you try to set a goal out to yourself, what, like, just top of your head, what is one of those goals look like? Well,
one was crafting a visual look. I had done some of that in the past with the other projects, just that's inherent with the job, but I wanted to spend a lot more time on the details with that type of stuff. And
nice.
When we were in pre-production, Aaron was like, him and I, we were talking about references and things like that. He was saying like Batman animated series, Dark Knight, but one of his favorite Batman of all time is Ben Affleck. He loves the size and the imposing nature of Ben Affleck, but he also wanted to kind of incorporate stuff from the comic books, specifically Killing Joke and A Death in the Family. And I was like, okay, like that's a lot of really great source material to reference from, but like cinematic stuff, like what would you reference? And he's like, well, Batman 89 and stuff like Seven and Fight Club. And I was like, all right, that's what I needed to know.
Yeah,
nice. So he wanted, and
did you want
Arkham
more
Asylum, the video game?
I was gonna say though, did you? If I was in your shoes, I would want more not Batman stuff. to be my guiding
Right.
light.
Yeah. And
Little
then
Women.
when,
What I was talking about.
well,
The
and
new
that's,
one, yeah.
that's what made it all click was when they said Seven and Fight Club. I
Right.
was like, all right, that's what I needed
Yeah.
to know. You know, they wanted a gritty, psychological, almost horror film kind of Batman.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, all right, I know how to do this, you know, or at least I have a rough idea of what to do. But because of like how big the project was and how small of a family we are typically, I needed to bring extra people in to, you know, from outside to help out. So I brought in Justin Jones. He's a fantastic cinematographer. He's accomplished so much, and he's a huge mentor to me. So it was really awesome to have him be my B-cam operator. Friend Mike Blevins, which you guys know, or at least Brian does, brought him in as a gaffer. So on all the other projects that I'd done with them in the past, I'm the one hanging all the lights, or I have you know someone else helping me do it all. But like they're not really specialized in that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like Mike is, you know, Mike owns a lighting and camera company and owns a soundstage now, and you know, so like
Awesome.
bringing those two guys in with their experience was huge. And then I also brought in two first ACs, which are focus pullers. You know, and that's another issue that we've kind of had in the past, because when I'm operating the camera on the previous projects, I'm pulling my own focus. And when you've got all those things going on in your head, it's really tough to get them all right. So like I just needed to bring extra people in to get it all right. And they crushed it. And that's what they're a lot of the reason why I look so good right now.
Yeah. Right.
You know, it's like, you know, it's not, it was a collaborative effort in a
Yeah.
lot of ways with that, which is everything that I love about filmmaking. You know, it's like stuff that we did together. It was fun collaborating on stuff and coming up with ideas that we might not have come up with before on our own.
Yeah.
You know,
for sure. So I was thinking we could go like a little like round robin. I'll start, and then Brian, you're next to me, and then go down to Aric with an E, because and then we just kind of go around, because I wanted to ask you questions. I wanted to nerd out for a hot second about what you shot it on and how you kind of came to that decision on like how was your camera going to fit into the visual look of the film.
Well,
I'm also going to post this on Instagram, so I'm not ignoring you. I'm just posting it.
No, it's all good. Well, that decision was a pretty informed one. It took us a couple months to finally like buckle down and buy the stuff, just because it was hard for me to sell it. But Aaron didn't want to rent cameras anymore because of this Batman Dying is Easy short and the upcoming project that we have, Legend of the White Dragon, which is a feature-length thing. You know, the rentals take up so much of your budget, you know, especially if you're renting for multiple weeks. And we were already renting spaces, you know, like pre-built standing sets for the movie that costs a lot of money. So he was trying to save wherever he could. And so I pushed really hard for Black Magic, and that's what we ultimately shot on, because of the low light capability of the Pocket 6K, and the Ursa G2 has a really, really fantastic sensor.
Oh, so you used the 6K as well, huh?
Yeah, we used the
nice.
6K as B cam, and the main camera was the Ursa G2. Nice. But a lot of the dialogue was cross covered simultaneously, best we could anyway.
So you can move faster.
Yeah, so it can move faster and, you know, capture some of those moments that you may not get, you know, when you're just going one by one. You know,
did you guys capture everything? I'm getting super nerdy. Did you do everything internally as well? Did you record it all internal, or did you do like on an Atomos or something?
SSD.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah, you can record to SSDs with both of those cameras, which is super handy. You know, we basically shot the whole day every day on one hard drive, which was, I think, terabyte, maybe 2 terabytes.
That's awesome.
Can't remember, but yeah, it was really nice because Aaron is the editor. as well. And so like I can literally just take the drive
Oh no, everybody froze up. Everybody froze but me. What happened? Okay, hang on.
footage for the client,
Are you coming back?
purchased all the stuff.
You froze,
Yeah.
Matt.
Oh, did I freeze?
Yeah, you
Oh,
froze.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there you are.
It says my internet connection is unstable. What the heck?
Oh, yeah, you got red bars
Hardwired.
there.
I mean, I'm the guy who needs to have a stable connection, so sorry about that. Yeah. You all froze up on my end, and I was nervous, but if it was just me, then that's good.
YouTube's back. Hold on one second.
All right. Cool. Make sure everything's back up and running. But
Do
well,
a
that's
quick
cool.
charge on your earbuds, Eric.
Yeah, yeah. Plug them in.
Yeah, it don't matter much.
Make sure we're looking good. Here.
what lens is the follow up?
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, once I finally ultimately sold Aaron on the look of Black Magic for our projects in general, we also needed to get lenses for him. And my suggestion was the Sigma Cine Zooms. Sigma makes really affordable and quality lenses. But we ended up getting the Sigma Art lenses, which are cheaper. They have a different housing. And they don't have hard stops for the focus, but the glass is basically the same exact glass as the Cine Zooms. So I ultimately got what I wanted, just not the right lens, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But once we got all that stuff, we did a camera test in July, and that was partially for me to get used to the cameras and see what they can do, like high speed, and because I really didn't know exactly how Aaron wanted to cover some of this stuff in the movie. So it's kind of just doing everything, pushing these cameras to the limit. And the other reason was because it was a costume test. It was the first time we had gotten Kevin in the full Batman suit, and the footage just blew me away. And we lit the whole scene with one aperture 300D in this studio space, and it was like he just jumped straight out of the comic book, dude. It was like, wow, like this, like he's Batman, like this is happening, everything is happening, and it feels like we're making all the right decisions, and it was awesome using a different camera system than we had used in the past, because everything before that was like C300 Mark II. And I'm a fan of them. They have a good look, but you really have to light them well. But it's just not cinematic enough for the stuff that we like to do. So it was nice changing camera systems.
That's cool.
And pushing those cameras to the limit, because I was blown away by them. They're really awesome. I cannot sing their praises enough. And
did you use aperture lights the whole time? I'm just curious because I have all the aperture lights.
Almost. It was almost exclusively lit with aperture lights.
Yeah, they're great, man. The color temperature is so fantastic on them, and they're really killer.
These
hey,
guys,
the MC's the best, man. Yeah.
Yeah, these guys.
I want like 12 of those.
My ass.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have the 12 light kit. I
got
the 12
nice.
light kit after doing this movie.
Yeah.
Because Justin and Mike, they both have the 4 light kit. So I had roughly 8 of them to work with on the movie, and we were using them
variety sizes, or are they all the same?
They're all the same.
They're all the same size.
But there's this app called Citus Link that you can hook it up to, and essentially because they're full spectrum RGB, so you can take the app, and so you want it to be the same color as a rose that you see on the wall, and you just take a picture of it, and it matches the color. It's pretty cool, man. Yeah.
Yeah, and they also have stuff like fire effect and
police,
lightning, police.
Yeah,
which was something that I used in this.
Oh, did you? Nice.
Yeah, with some of the stuff with Bullock at the end. The crime scene.
Right when he's got there's ambulance and police behind him.
Yeah, with all those cars around.
Is that green screen or was
right there?
Yeah.
It was all green screen. All of Madsen's stuff was green screen.
That's crazy,
awesome.
man.
Yeah.
Brian, do you have a question?
And
oh, sorry, you want to jump in there?
I was just gonna say, I wanted to give a lot of props to Nikolai, our visual effects supervisor. He blew me away yet again. He's always done some really great visual effects, but like, I knew that stuff was green screen, but when I saw it, I was like, wow, this actually looks real. Like, this is damn good. Like, for given the budget and given the fact that he's wheelchair bound, like and in a completely different continent. He's in like Russia. Or the Ukraine.
Thus Nikolai. Okay.
Yeah.
And so, like, got to give him props because you literally didn't see us shoot anything. He wasn't present for any of that stuff. So like, he had to do a lot of guesswork, but he really saved my ass too. Like, same thing with the other guys.
Yeah.
He nailed the scale. That was what one thing that I was impressed the most was that there's nothing that looks oddly out of scale, like a little too big, little too small. Everything is dead on. Is real good.
Yeah, it was awesome. Just like, and his composite work on Gotham, like that's the Gotham that I picture in my head, like that's the one thing that Nolan didn't get quite right in his trilogy was Gotham. Like, it just didn't feel like Gotham.
Yeah, he didn't really put any special extra style on it.
Yeah, he could have very easily thrown a little money at visual effects and kind of fill out the skyline with fake buildings or something, but like, it just didn't feel like Gotham. Like,
I don't think he tried. I think that's what he was trying to make it very grounded. Like, I don't mean that in a bad way.
Yeah, no. No, I think you're right with that. Yeah, because he was trying to go for a more realistic, or like someone that could exist in reality.
Yeah, very. But one thing I will say is I noticed in The Dark Knight Rises is when, like, especially that chase scene at the Tumblr near the beginning, it's like Chicago, New York, L.A.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pittsburgh.
Yeah, exactly.
It's this amalgam of cities.
Anyway,
but
didn't try to have the Ewan McGregor problem. You want Ewan McGregor or fake buildings? Ewan McGregor, fake buildings.
But anyway, sorry for my quick segue, so I could hate on Nolan, but you guys know I have to get that.
But that's why that was why Birds of Prey sucked so much. Was because of that same reason. You want Ewan McGregor, or do you want literally everybody else? What do you want?
But speaking of which, did you guys do Tenet without me?
No,
we haven't done it yet. No,
I haven't watched Tenet
because I got things to say.
Eric. Actually, I have unwatched Tenet.
Oh,
yeah. Wow! How high did you have to get to do that?
Barely.
So anyway, back to Batman dying is easy. So,
the pinky.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Eric, but you and I and Matt, of course, have done a lot of things together in the past. Is this probably like the most green screen you've done, or at least the biggest scale now?
Definitely, yeah, both of those for sure.
How did you like modify your approach or your thinking? Because like I imagine those rooftops, especially, like I'm sure like the rooftop part of it was practical, but obviously the 360 degrees around them was green screen, I'm assuming. Did you have to like
all of it? All of it was green. Yeah.
Really? You have a little bit of floor he was on that got
it was a green cyc, and we had some apple boxes that he stood on that represented the gargoyle that he was standing on, that's on the edge of the building. Yep,
that's awesome.
Yep.
How did you like go ahead, sorry.
Same thing for the bat signal. We just had an aperture 120D or a 60D, like their smallest little light, on a Gary Coleman stand, kind of hitting Madsen directly in the face. And he just had this little like taped off area that we used to represent the size of the bat signal. And there was an apple box for him to put his foot on. That's it.
That's
so
awesome.
Like, how did you like modify your approach, like when you were shooting with all that green? Because like you kind of having to use your imagination quite a bit when you're lighting that, because you you did a really nice job at still capturing the mood and everything lighting wise.
Well, thanks,
so
man. Thank you.
Like how did you like modify your approach, or did you have to, or because like I say, I feel like you're having to do a lot of, it's actually going to look like this when it's done, kind of looking at it when you're setting up the shot. Like,
it's some of it. They're pretty good at describing how things are going to look like what they're envisioning. But you know, it was definitely something that I had to ask more questions about than I have in the past, you know. And it was questions like, you know, what kind of buildings are around them? Do they have lights on them? And if so, what color? You know, where is the moon? You know, where is the bat signal? Where do you like that type of stuff? You know, and
yeah, to be like a 5-year-old to a parent.
Yeah, yeah.
Tell me where it
asking
is.
a lot of questions.
Yeah.
And that's really part of the game. You know, that's why I hate that it's a film by blank. You know, like a Zack Snyder film. Like, you know, it's more than just Zack Snyder. It's everybody else that's involved. You know. So
well, then, as much as important as the questions are for you, I'm sure they're equally as important for the other people to go, oh, I wasn't thinking about this. Oh,
yeah, absolutely.
What am I doing?
You know, I mean, like stuff like my lighting informs Chrissy Lynn's makeup job. You know, like she has to like light him or you know, do the makeup in the lighting that I provide. You know, and she alters her approach because of that. You know, it's like this weird symbiotic dance. You know, same thing with like the sound guy. Like the sound guy has to work with me, and where I place lights and where I'm going to be with camera, that type of stuff. You know, it's a huge collaborative effort making movies. You know.
Yeah, that's always. Even though I'm extremely egotistical and I love myself a lot, it's always that part of the film thing has always bugged me. Is like a film by. It's like, yeah, I get it. Like I get that it's like your like vision, but kind of unless you're like David Fincher, I don't know if there's like really much outside of like you're not unless you're pushing record on all the cameras and then you're doing all the lights, like you gotta like really put it out there that this is not a film by. At least that's kind of my feeling about it, you know.
Yeah, and I agree with that. You know, it's and I get it too, you know, because it is in a way a marketing thing, you know, because the Zack Snyders and David Finchers of the world have a name that everybody knows, and of course that's going to help sell the movie.
For very different reasons between those two.
But I just I never really quite agreed with it. Come on, man. What about the 100-something people that are listed after you in the credits? You know,
and especially as a you know, because where my career has evolved to go from like just being a director to actually kind of doing all the things now, especially the cinematography and especially the editing. Those are the two things where I'm just like, yeah, but Scorsese, did you cut this? Because I know you didn't. And I know you didn't operate that camera with 8 lenses on it, you know, to make De Niro look young. So it is like there's just a lot going on. And you're talking about hundreds, sometimes thousands of people working on a movie. So
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, they say like 44,000 people were employed by this motion picture. It's like crazy.
Yeah.
It's like the entirety of some giant picture. Yeah.
It's an
I mean, like the credit sequences in all the Marvel movies are like 10 minutes long.
Right.
You know?
Oofta.
It takes a huge village.
Yeah.
To make
the credit sequence of
movies,
Falcon and the Winter Soldier was long. That's basically its own movie right there. It's crazy.
I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah.
I haven't watched that yet either, but I'm
spoilers, they all die again.
There's another snap.
Yeah, the snap happens mid first episode.
Thanos just like a bubble opens up like a and he just pops in and goes, you two snap. And they're like,
Buck, I don't feel so good.
Oh, you have an Italian accent. Never mind. Goodbye.
Well, I was telling the guys.
Italian Thanos. I got it.
Italian Thanos. He's always talking with his hands. You never know when he's going to snap.
Oh, he's talking with a glove. Accidentally snap. He didn't even mean to.
Oopsie.
Life is all about the balance.
My gems, they're so heavy, they make me snap.
Yeah.
Well, so I was telling Aric, Aric with an E and Nick last week that I started WandaVision. I was watching that with my girlfriend Sarah, and she hasn't really seen all the Marvel movies. So we watched the first 3 episodes, and then episode 4, I think it is, opens with sort of like the moment after the snap comes back, so everyone starts to rematerialize. And so I grabbed the Apple TV remote and I just put pause, and I was like, have you seen this movie? And she's like, I have no idea what's going on. I'm like, okay, we got some catching up to do. So we're just we're on like Iron Man 2 right now. So it's like we're gonna
shit.
You get like your whiteboard out and start drawing her a diagram.
I started explaining it. I was like, because there's a point in the movie where he's never mind. We're just gonna.
We got to talk about the snap at another point because I recently just powered through the MCU again, and I have thoughts about the snap. So we got to write that down.
We'll circle back to the snap.
Smoking hot snap.
I got a smoking hot tip on the snap. But,
just the tip.
Just
halfway
but
in.
it's smoking hot, and they
you
had
can just
smoking
snap
hot.
the tip.
Just
no, please don't.
Hey, just a snap of the tip, huh?
I have a non-industry question. When you start the pre-production, did you have like Doug Jones and did you have the cast in place, or was it
It kind of
ideas
came
first?
together. Yeah, it kind of came together over time. I mean, they definitely had Kevin locked in. Kevin's part of the family, and obviously he was the first and only choice for Batman. And same thing for Aaron. I mean, he wrote and directed the thing, so that was set. But then, with like Madsen and Doug Jones, who else? Amy Johnston, who played Harley Quinn.
Chris Daughtry.
Chris Daughtry. Like it was, all those people. They kind of. I think Aaron and Sean had to do a little bit of, poking and prodding, get him in there. But like,
how did Chris Daughtry happen? Of American Idol fame. That feels like a connection. Like it's like, oh yeah, no, he grew up next door to me. That's what that one feels like.
I actually have no idea how they made that connection. I think I would just chalk it up to Aaron being tenacious.
Yeah.
He is a very tenacious person. He makes things materialize out of thin air sometimes.
So do you,
even
though.
after those court orders, he still
after the snap and after all the things.
But we didn't really know if Doug Jones was 100% in until like the week of. Same thing for Madsen, but
and does that
got him?
Does getting different people like that change the approach on?
It changes the costume person's approach.
Well, but I would assume like
Yeah.
Doug Jones is like 6'7", so like
he's tall.
that's absolutely going to change the way that you have to light that up. And so I didn't know if that's what I was wondering, if you did some principal stuff and you're like, okay, here's my plan, especially knowing that like you've got the green screen, so you're like, okay, this is how this is all happening. And then 6'9" Doug Jones comes, you're like, never mind, hold on, let me redo all this.
Can I make a confession, guys?
Yeah.
Everyone's talking about. I saw I was reading the press about the movie. Sorry, Eric, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I gotta say.
All good.
I was reading the press like, oh, Doug Jones, and I'm like, I don't know who Doug Jones is.
That's the Riddler. He played the Riddler, but he's
no, I know he played the Riddler, but I don't know who he is.
He's a very famous. Yeah, he always has a mask on. He's very famous character
Del
actor.
Turo. A lot
yeah,
of
he's
Del
in
Turos.
Pan's Labyrinth.
So
he's Abe Sapien in the Hellboy movies.
Like he was the creature in The Shape of Water.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Gotcha.
And the guy with the eyes in his hands from Pan's Labyrinth.
Yeah.
That guy.
Yeah,
he's done a lot of stuff.
You would call him like a character actor, but in the sense of like a prosthetic character.
He just never has lines, right?
Yeah.
He's like the Andy Serkis of heavy prosthetics.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
Super famous dude
Yeah.
you'll never recognize.
There you go.
Yep.
Absolutely, yes. And one, it was really cool to actually shoot him without any prosthetics, and because he has a lot of really great facial tics and stuff. Just that one little line that he had in the movie was like he gave it everything, and it was awesome to watch.
It's really good.
But yeah, he's friends with Kevin Porter, so I think that was what made the sell pretty easy. But I don't know exactly what his motivations were, other than him just being like a really kind and warm human being. Like he really is the nicest dude on the planet,
And probably also being able to walk into a shoot and not have to sit in a chair for 12 hours.
Yeah,
kind of nice.
Probably
right?
I'll do that.
Yeah,
sure.
for sure. Breath of fresh air,
Literally.
So,
but we all
not through an inch of polystyrene.
For me and all of my pores.
Everybody.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, we only had him for like 4 hours though. So it was like we got him there, we got him in the chair for makeup and got him in the wardrobe, and like we kind of had to wait around a little bit before we got to the coverage of his scene. But like once we shot that one shot and made sure that we got it and we were happy, sent him home, so
Nice.
it's a pretty easy day
bad.
for an actor,
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
And same thing for Madsen we only had for 8 hours that day. But yeah,
Wow. You
So
cracked that
was
out
some pressure,
fast.
too.
So
Yeah.
that was the thing I
How
told.
many apple crates did you have to have ready?
We were
It
talking
was-
about that earlier. It was like I don't want this whole conversation to just be about Michael Madsen, but I mean, as a huge Tarantino fan, as most of us are, what was that like getting to work with him? Was it awesome?
I mean, we shot that stuff on day 2 of our schedule. So that's having shot all of our day 1 was Arkham. So we shot with Doug Jones and all that coverage on day 1.
Wow, you
And-
started big.
Yeah.
Yeah,
all of that.
yeah. Which I think was a great decision because it really got me amped up. I was like,
for sure.
holy crap! Like this movie is gonna be amazing, And like I was really proud of it. Like the second that we started working, it was like this is all coming together, And it was a really great feeling. It's the feeling we chase as filmmakers, Like we're like telling a story and we're being really creative and like everything's just clicking,
Mhm.
So having all of that going into day 2 and having Michael Madsen show up is like just made it feel bigger,
Mhm.
And he has gravitas, I mean, he's like you said, he's been in all those Quentin Tarantino movies and like he's this really like violent or like aggressive, salty kind of character in all those movies, but like he's really nice and funny and like kind of the opposite of what you see on the screen. So that was like really
Sure.
comforting,
And he rolls,
Um,
you roll the camera and he just kills.
And yeah, you roll the camera and he just does his thing, He did a fair amount of improvising just because he got the script a little late. He was still reading the script like the night before.
Mhm.
But everything that he was delivering, I was on board with. Like it all felt like conversational, which is the kind of stuff you want. And it was just awesome seeing him bring that character to life. It's like brilliant casting, man. Like
Mhm.
it's crazy that we even got him, but like I'm really glad that we got him because I can't think of anybody else who would be better.
Yeah.
So I didn't really have as much pressure shooting him as I did say Doug Jones. Just like, Doug Jones is like a legend.
Mhm.
And it was a time when he wasn't going to have prosthetics, so like I got to get that right.
All right, don't screw this
Yeah.
up.
Yeah, and then with Madsen, I was like, I got to get this right, but it was easy. Like it actually like it was pretty easy working that
That's good.
coverage with him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, when you have
And-
someone that knows how to just bang it out,
Yeah. Hit the
Yeah.
mark.
Yeah. I mean, he's been acting for 30 years or something.
Oh, while. Yeah.
Yeah,
Not
wow.
longer. Shoot.
Yeah,
Yeah,
probably
yeah.
longer.
But
So
and it was cool.
location, the Arkham location, though, on day 1, where was that though?
And I actually just had to look it up today because I couldn't remember, but it is called Capitol Arts Studios. It's in Woodland Hills. And it's a fun little playground for people like us. It's I mean, geez, the building had to be like the size of a Costco. Okay, so like it's like a big,
wow.
big warehouse, and they have just an endless amount of standing sets there. They have like
Okay.
like a cop, precinct and
or
like a
something. That's awesome.
hospital.
Mhm.
Like the hospital that they had there, they even had the outside exterior that you could shoot, and there was enough space in front of it that you could drive in an ambulance and have it parked outside.
Oh, it's
So like you could shoot out the door and see an ambulance. And
Yeah.
it's like this place was awesome.
Wow.
And they had the
TV
whole
show
Asylum
stream,
set.
you know.
Yeah. Like a lot of TV shows shoot stuff there. And yeah, when we saw the set, like it was all pretty lit already. Like all the fixtures you see in there are already standing. But but beyond that, it was just adding lights shining through the windows. So my blue moonlight and the yellow Arkham light that I decided to choose. And then just kind of adding some fill here and there. But it was really nice working in that studio because they didn't really have to spend much time on art direction. You know, it was all ready to go. You know, so then it was just me, you know, doing my lighting thing. But yeah, it was really awesome experience shooting there.
I'm gonna add that to my Powerball list.
Yeah.
Build giant Costco-sized studio.
Yeah, dude, it was cool, man. Like
It's a brilliant idea.
Yeah, there was even a set. It was a 2-story house. So like, but it had it was like dissected, so you could shoot from the outside, like a continuous shot from someone going downstairs into the upstairs,
like an ant farm looking in.
Yeah, exactly. It's like really cool.
So that Arkham Day 1 set, now what's that coverage? Is that it's him walking down the hall and people in
so
cells
it's
and
walking in the hall, walking by all the cells, and we had a fight sequence that didn't make the movie that we also shot there as well. But they changed that because of story purposes and some other things. But I'm glad they changed it. I love the fight sequence they have in there now with the Mad Hatter and all of his goons.
Was the other one also one that included him mashing somebody's testicles?
It was penguin balls.
Like, we only need one testicle mashing. You know what?
No, it was going to be more of a battle royale type thing with all the rogues in the rogues gallery that you saw at the beginning of the movie. Nice. You know, like Killer Croc and Harley Quinn and all that. But it didn't end up making the movie.
But you shot it?
Well, we shot it.
Oh, wow. That's a lot of work.
I don't know if they have any plans on putting it out or if it's going to be like a deleted scene kind of thing. Or I know that Aaron is flirting with the idea of doing a noir cut, black and white, and kind of re-editing the film a little bit. So if there's a chance it could end up in there. I don't know. But it's kind of lost to the filmmaking gods now.
Yeah.
Well,
that's crazy. That's a lot. It's just a ton of work.
It was.
Yeah, it's not like you dropped a conversation.
Yeah, I mean, that was day 1, and that day ended up being something like 16 or 18 hours. It was a long day.
So not a union set. Just kidding.
No, definitely not. But I mean, that was our hardest day, though.
Yeah.
The other days weren't so bad, but we had 3 days in the rec room for Batman and Joker. That's the meat of the film, and that's the meat of our schedule. But we shot that in August, and if you've ever been to LA in the summertime, it's not pleasant.
In a studio.
And we were in a studio, and we were just getting beaten to hell by the sun. And the lights actually not so much. Like LED really isn't that. It doesn't generate too much heat, which is nice.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of,
but we were just getting
right.
We were just getting beaten to death by the sun, and the building was anyway. So it wasn't air conditioned or anything. So we were all just dying.
How much weight did Batman lose in his suit?
I know, right?
Man, got to give Kevin a lot of props, man, because he is such a warrior when it comes to doing what he does. Because before we even started shooting, he had a medical emergency and had to go to the hospital for a day, and we were wondering if we were even going to be able to shoot, because Batman is such an intensively physical deal.
Hard to shoot around him.
Yeah,
we'll
just cut
really
around
hard
him.
To shoot around Batman. So, but he powered through all of that. Yeah. And then, in that oppressive heat, wearing thick ass latex suit that has no breathability,
really seals in the flavor.
Yeah, it really seals it in. We could only shoot with him for 20 minutes at a time before we had to cut, and he had to unzip the suit. And they bought a air conditioner, kind of like the one that you gave me after you moved out of the old place, Brian. And we had it set up in the room, and you can see a little clue of it in there. The air duct is kind of going out the window above the door in there. But
Oh, nice.
we had to turn on the AC full blast, and he had to sit in front of it for at least 20 minutes before we shoot again.
Okay, so in your room, you're shooting, the AC's blowing in the second you.
Yeah. But then when it's time to roll, we have to turn it off for sound purposes, you know. So like the room it doesn't take long for the room to heat up again, you know.
Yeah.
So that was one of the bigger hurdles that we had to get over, was just being able to shoot with Kevin.
Wow.
You know, but he didn't complain once. Every time we started shooting, he was like, "All right, let's go," and he was like really focused, you know. And I think he brought a lot of it's that kind of energy that like an athlete has, you know, and they have something like really motivate them to the goal line, you know, like, and I think that's what he needed to bring his performance home. And then me watching it was like, I have to bring my performance home because this dude is literally killing himself.
Right.
Yeah. Right.
Making this movie. So like, I can't let him down, you know? And so we were all kind of motivating each other in that regard.
That's cool.
'Cause we were, you know, it's like war buddies, you know, they're all like the whole mutual conflict or mutual what's the right word?
Camaraderie.
Yeah, that kind of thing, you know.
You're all in it together. Yep.
We're all in it together. We're all in the trenches, you know, so like we all gotta, you know, do this, you know.
Except for Nikolai off in cool Russia.
Yeah, in Russia.
Just Siberia.
Yeah, just hanging out in front of a computer.
Having a drinky poo. Yeah.
Definitely warm vodka.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, he had to work pretty damn hard on this movie too, all things considered.
Yeah.
But
yeah, no, everybody covered their bases big time.
Yeah, absolutely. It was tough. It was a really tough shoot. But
how many days total was it then?
It was originally 5. When the script was, I think the script was like 18 pages originally, but then they kept the Indiegogo alive, tried to raise a little bit more money and try to extend the film out a little more, and they did some rewrites, so the script ended up being like 25 pages or so, which you know, shoots down. But the Mad Hatter scene was the rewrite, because the story was different with that other Arkham fight that we had shot, and I think the change is for the better. But yeah, they ended up adding that one day for the Mad Hatter fight, and then they had a day for the Catwoman cut scene at the end, which was 2 shots.
Yeah, there's a post credits.
Yeah, there's a mid credit scene. Yeah.
Crap, I gotta watch that.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
Get up in
She
there.
does. It's funny. She does the very popular TikTok fuckboy, which is really funny.
I'm gonna mute for a second.
Yeah, have a look there. So that costume by Reeves FX, I mean, he does major studio stuff, doesn't he? Costume wise.
I don't know for certain, but if he isn't, he should be.
Yeah, because I think he does the Flash, or did the Flash, the TV show, amongst other things. But his stuff is fantastic, man. That suit's really cool.
Is awesome. Yeah. Go on a deep dive on his Instagram. You'll see a lot of really
his
cool
Insta's
stuff.
really great.
Yeah.
That's super cool.
And he did a fantastic job on this suit. Really, really did. And especially in person, like, you know, we captured the suit really, really well. It translated really well on camera, but like just seeing it in person, it's just like, wow, like, it really like materializes Batman. You know, it makes him like a real, like when Kevin put that thing on and he put the cowl on, it's like he turned into Batman, just like that.
You can't help it, right? You just have to.
Yeah, he just can't help it. And him and Aaron both are pretty method when it comes to their acting style. So like once they're in character, they like to stay in character, you know, that sort of thing. And yeah, he really brought the thing to life. And if the suit sucked, then it would have been a different story, you know.
Oh yeah, it would have upset the whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and in this case, it's debatable on whether or not, you know, which one is wearing which. You know, whether Kevin's wearing the suit or the suit's wearing Kevin. You know, it's like they both kind of harmonize.
Yeah.
You know, it was really perfect.
I wonder if the.
They did a great job.
Oh, go ahead, Eric.
I was just gonna ask, did he get like body cast and the whole 9 yards, or was it like?
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. So yeah,
it was a whole thing.
I mean, yeah, you kind of have to. Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially with the face.
I don't know the exact figure, but I know they spent over 10,000 on the suit.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I believe it.
I will apologize and correct it if I'm wrong, but I know that it was somewhere around that much. I just can't remember exactly.
Oh, to do
but
our two listeners aren't gonna come after you. Don't worry about it.
Our listener, yeah.
But Kevin had to do like 10 or 11 fittings.
Yeah.
In order to get it all right. And, you know, he was working out for a few months, you know, ahead of time, just trying to put on muscle, you know, because he's already a huge guy, but he wanted to put on more like Ben Affleck kind of muscle for the movie. So he ended up getting, I think, somewhere around 250, and he's 6'5".
Okay.
Yikes.
Yeah.
So like he really is like a big dude.
Yeah.
So he towers over.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, put him in the suit and it's like, wow, Batman.
Yeah. What's up, Batman?
You know, he's got it all. But you know, he's been playing Batman for damn near 20 years. In
what?
Varying like geez, I think his original one, he was
I just looked him up, but he plays Laser in Dodgeball.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He was in
That's
Dodgeball.
awesome.
Yeah.
He was in Dodgeball. Yeah. And fun fact, there was going to be an awesome little Easter egg for Dodgeball in the movie, but didn't end up happening. They
The Ocho?
Kevin's still friends with all the Purple Cobras, right?
Yeah.
And he was going to try to get us Missy Pyle and the guy that played Blazer, Robert. I can't remember his last name right now. Starts with an M, I think. But they were going to be in Arkham. Like she was going to play a doctor or a nurse, and he was going to play a security guard. And it was going to be this fun little like reunion type thing. And I was really excited to shoot it, but they didn't end up getting them booked.
Yeah,
they weren't available.
That's funny.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, but Kevin ended up getting cast by Warner Brothers to be the guy in the suit during like Comic Cons and like booths and stuff.
Oh, really?
So like, so he was like, he's been representing Batman for a while, but then
he looks like he's like a pro cosplay type of thing. I feel like.
He's played other roles in Bat in the Sun projects besides Batman, you know, like Negan from Walking Dead and Punisher. He played, who else? I'm blanking on it right now. But yeah, he has played other things. But Batman definitely has been one of the bigger roles in his life. He's also done other short films as well for Bat in the Sun and other people as Batman. Like he was in one in 2005 and 2006, 2010. So yeah, he's kind of been, you know, hopscotching around with Batman for a long time.
Fans, that's the longest running actor playing a Batman ever, right?
Yeah,
yeah, that makes sense.
Essentially,
aside from maybe voice actors.
Yeah. I mean, you've got Kevin Conroy, who did the animated series and video games and stuff like that. So, but Kevin is a long relationship with Batman, his character. So, he's definitely learned how to hone that in his performance, you know.
Yeah, he definitely has his own Batman for sure. Like it does not look like a iteration of something else.
No, it really is his own, and kudos to him for being able to carve that out for himself, you know. Because I mean, like, fans go nuts for him, man. Like, there's a lot of people on their channel when anything Batman related, they're like, this is my favorite live action Batman, or like, this is my second favorite next to like Ben Affleck or Christian Bale, you know, like that kind of thing. It's like they want to see him on the big screen as Batman so badly, and I do too.
Rob
I'm a huge
Pats,
fan
bro.
of-
Rob Pats.
Pats, the
Yeah.
patents.
At me down, bro.
Yeah.
Pat me down, Bats.
maybe doing the Flashpoint stuff when they have the multiverse.
Right.
maybe sneak
And
in.
he's played Flashpoint, Thomas Wayne Batman as well. I shot a project with him for Bat in the Sun in 2018, where it was a beatdown between him and Killmonger from Black Panther.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and so that was my first experience shooting Batman, which informed a lot of what I did on this. Just because Aaron, one, is very he's a stickler about how you light Batman. You know, you can't ever light him from the front. You always have to light him from the side, top, or back. That's it. You can't do anything else. And he's absolutely right, because that's what really makes him come out like he does in the comic books. You know what I mean?
From the shadow.
Yeah, he's got to live in the shadows a little bit. So Kevin is done Batman a lot, and now that I've had 2 chances, I want to shoot another one.
Yeah,
I'd love to do possibly a sequel to this or something bigger in the future. That would be really awesome.
Nice.
It's got to
Batman
be
again.
Condiment King.
Yeah, I was really
Battle
happy
down
with
at
that
White
little
Castle.
nod, because like, when has Condiment King ever been referenced in any of the
Right.
things
Exactly.
beyond the comic
Calendar
books?
Man.
Like the Harley Quinn
Yeah.
cartoon. Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah.
So I do have one bone to pick though with the production, and it's that you did not get your own credit.
Yeah.
What's the deal there? Like you had to share the screen with I think the makeup person, and I was a little bummed.
Did a great job.
Yeah, who did a great job,
She
but
got her own
did.
card
I
too.
mean,
She did a killer
she
job.
should have gotten her own card
And-
too. You guys, yeah,
and I think
I'm sure it was a
that's why
timing
I wasn't
thing,
mad
but
about it.
yeah.
Yeah, I think that's why I wasn't mad about it. You know,
Yeah.
because she did a killer job. She had a lot on her plate, especially on the Arkham Day. You know, she's got Mr. Freeze, Poison Ivy, Harley Quinn. You know, all these different characters that have different looks, and we have an ample, minimum amount of time to shoot all that stuff. And you know, she just knocked it out of the park.
Yeah.
So like, you know, my ego is like, yeah, sure, it would be
Right.
nice to have a full screen credit, but at the end of the day, I'm not mad about it at all. I'm honored to just be on screen with them.
It's been seen at least 4 million times. So.
Right.
Yeah, it's like, and I can't really be mad about that. You know,
How did this happen in the first place? You went from, doing some of their other projects to helming the whole thing. Taking over the camera department. How did that evolve for you?
over a long period of time. I first got involved with them back in, when was that? 2014, 2015, somewhere in there.
Okay.
With my friend Joey Rasul, because he was the cinematographer before,
Gotcha.
and he was shooting Batman versus Darth Vader, one of their biggest beatdown videos that they've ever put out.
Okay, that's that one.
Yeah, that's those
And
guys.
he needed extra hands for lighting, grip and lighting stuff. And so I came out for next to nothing. Actually, I think I came out for free. And worked with him, and it was a lot of fun. And that was the first time I met Kevin, because he was playing Batman in that as well. But then I also met Aaron and Sean and everybody else that was involved with them, and they were all just this fun, tight little family, like filmmaking group, kind of like we had with Platonic. It's just like this fun little group of people that when we like making stuff together, and I was just like, I have to be a part of this, because they do really cool stuff. And then I got, what was the next video that I did? I think it was Nightwing versus Winter Soldier. Joey called me in again for lighting on that. And then Bat in the Sun, they produced a 8-episode web series for Valiant Comics called Ninjak versus the Valiant Universe. And that was another thing that Joey called me in on to help him light. And so I was the gaffer on that. And that's when I think I really built the relationship that I have with Aaron and Sean and all of them now. It's just because that was such a long project, it's such a huge undertaking, and it all came together so well. And then not long after that, Joey kind of moved on to bigger and better things. He ended up getting a full-time job with the blog Collider He was shooting all their in-house content, and so he was staying busy, and he couldn't really handle the schedule anymore of freelance film production, so they kind of passed the torch to me. And the first video that I did was Super Horror Beatdown, which was Mike Myers versus Looksy, which is a original character from it's another web channel, and I can't remember the name of it now. But they do a lot of horror centric shorts. But yeah, Looksy, he's like this weird like demon sort of guy that has like claws, and he doesn't have eyes, and like his skin is kind of like I don't even know how to describe it. But he's a terrifying character. But they were doing this collaborative deal with that other channel, and I was shooting that. And so that was my first time really getting put through my paces as a cinematographer with them, and turned in a product that I was proud of. But I had a lot to learn, and I learned a lot going into the next video, which was Flashpoint Batman versus Killmonger, and applied a lot of stuff there. But the stuff that I've learned between that and now is tenfold. Like working for people like Justin Jones, seeing how he lights music videos and moves the camera and that type of stuff. Like, I've learned a lot from him, and, it made me think critically about what I do and how I shoot, and so I had all that knowledge going into Dying is Easy, and that's what I think helped really bring it all together visually. Yeah. And it's stuff like introducing a gimbal, because the gimbal was this is the first time we've ever used a gimbal on any of their projects. Every other project, it was either a Dana Dolly or handheld or sticks. That's it. And so when we were coming up with that Arkham sequence, I was like, how cool would it be to have this super awesome Steadicam like shot of Batman coming in, and we like, start at his feet and look up, and then, pass through the gate, and we, see his ears in the moonlight coming through the window, and then, kind of just keep following him through. And, I think that was day one. That was the thing that really, really got me excited about this. It was just like, wow, like I'm doing it. It's like I told myself I wanted to be better on this project, and I'm doing it. And it's like that just lit a fire under me, dude. Like that was such a cool, great day.
Did you use like a big caged in like old Ronin, or what did you use for the gimbal?
Mobi Pro. Mobi Pro. So it was the ring is like this wide, I guess, so basically like shoulder width. Which in hindsight, I probably, if we had the money, I would have tried to get a smaller gimbal, because of the complications that the Mobi brought. Because it's so wide, and Kevin is so wide, he's just like gigantic shoulders. You can see him; he's almost struggling getting through those doorways in there. And so you add another guy that is also pretty big shouldered. Justin's a pretty beefy guy. Muscle wise, but so it was really tough, like doing that choreographed dance in the hallway, trying to get Kevin around Justin and continue the shot as if nothing happened, right? But it was a great tool, and I wish that we could have utilized it a little bit more in the movie. But I think that's what made that sequence really. Yeah. For me, until we start seeing those characters and all the makeup and all that, but it's just like, this feels like Arkham, and it feels like a Batman movie,
You made it feel giant. Like, was that multiple passes that you were doing? Like, how long is that set?
It was
like
pretty.
You just kept walking and walking.
It is pretty big. So it's basically just an L shape, and we just did multiple takes. And so like the first one, it starts on him and then turns and follows behind him, and then the next one, the camera operator is in front of him walking backwards, and then there was other shots, like profile shots, that we used to elongate the space, you know, to make it bigger, because Arkham is a huge place and you know, it needed to be big. But it was stuff like that, being able to move in through such a big set that really helped make it feel big.
Yeah, you had enough shots that were long enough that you could.
Yeah.
When it's strung together in editing, it's like it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
And what were you shooting at? I mean, considering Kevin's so big and you're in those tight spaces, were you shooting at like 24 and 35 millimeter? Or were you guys shooting at like 135, like from way back? Like, what were you? How'd you utilize that?
I want to say we were shooting on I think it was like a 24 for maybe a 28. The Sigma art zooms. It's kind of tough to figure out exactly what focal length you're on.
Is the Ursa
in the range, but
is the Ursa Super 35 or is it full frame?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so you're getting like a 35 millimeter like focal, like kind of equivalent. So that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not like distorted wide, but it's wide enough.
And the 6K, the pocket is micro 4/3. So
the 6K is Super 35 also. So you guys were matching on that.
No, you're right.
Yeah, the 4K is micro 4/3. Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking of. Yeah, the 4K.
That's great though.
Yeah. So
Such
we
cool
were.
camera.
It was like a 24 or 28, somewhere in that range on the lens.
That makes sense.
And Justin was leading or following roughly like 5 feet back or in front, somewhere in there. But yeah, we wanted to see ceiling, or like more of the space than just that bit you normally get when you're at like eye level. So like Justin was either like looking up, or excuse me, he was down below his, under his head, or he was all the way down to the floor for a lot of it.
Yeah. That's
just
cool.
to get that imposing size of Batman.
Yep, those shots where it's his head and then you can see the ceiling. Yeah, those are great.
Yeah. But
because you don't want to waste
like I
that
said,
production
man,
design and just shoot everything tight. You want to get as much of that atmosphere going.
I mean, that's production value, And like I said, we really didn't have to do a whole lot to the set to make it look as good as it does. It's like we kind of just walked in, and Sean, being the detail-oriented guy that he is with things like music and specifically like art direction and prop making, he always goes in and does little things. But it was pretty easy going in there to make it look like Arkham.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. I didn't realize Doug Jones was so tall.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He's a pretty tall guy.
Tall.
He's not much shorter than Kevin. I think he's like 6'4", 6'3", somewhere there. He's taller than me, and I'm 6 foot.
Well, he's also 80 pounds, so he's very Jack Skellington.
Yeah. He's very, very lanky.
Yeah. He's like a really tall jockey.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
How much took a jockey?
And just pulled him, gumbied him a little bit.
That's what the Doug Jones documentary. That's what someone will say about it.
Well, we're just gonna get you for that.
Stretch.
Yeah.
From Ebert.com, they say.
Yeah.
He's like Gumby. But so what's next? What's on the horizon for you?
Well, the next big thing is the feature-length project that Batman the Sun is producing called Legend of the White Dragon, and it is not exactly a Power Rangers property, but it's inspired by Power Rangers type stuff.
Oh, I thought it was like a Pablo Escobar.
White dragon. That's White Lightning.
Chasing that white dragon.
Okay, right?
It's cocaine.
No, not that.
We ride the White Tiger, huh?
No. It's the Power Rangers meets cocaine. That's different.
I'm pretty sure cocaine is how some of that got made. Let's be real.
Probably. But so it's inspired by that universe. But it is all original IP, and that's one thing that Aaron and Sean have been trying to do over the past couple of years, is try to create their own content.
For
because
sure, absolutely.
You're gonna
doing
bust
all
your
of
butt,
these,
might as well make money off it if you can.
Yeah, exactly. Because all these fan films, however awesome it is making them, at the end of the day, they can't make money off of it because that's the agreement. Like DC and Marvel, they're okay with us doing fan films as long as we're not making a profit off of it, you know? So like all of Bat and the Sun's videos are monetized, but all that money just gets rolled over into the next production, you know? So they're not really making any money off of this stuff. Aaron still works, you know, like he's still like an actor and does stunt work and stuff like that, you know, like they're not making income off of it really. So they're trying to do stuff that's more original.
Turn that,
Yeah.
Which when now they have the views, so
Yeah.
they've had enough things under the belt that they
fan base.
Now they have a bit of a spotlight on them, you know, like I mean, shit, this was in the Hollywood Reporter, you know, that was the thing that was really shocking to me that first couple days was like, holy shit, Hollywood Reporter knows about this.
Yeah.
You know, and
cool.
I mean, Kevin Smith, they're
Kevin Smith
going to be getting on Kevin Smith podcast on Sunday. And it's like, what? Like Kevin Smith knows about this? You know, like never in my life did I think Kevin Smith would ever watch anything that I ever made. You know?
Right.
You know, or at least I hope that he would, but like, it's like, wow, that he actually has. Like, that's awesome.
That's cool, man. That's super
Yeah.
cool. That's awesome.
You nailed it. It looked great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks, man. Thank you.
Yeah. Well done.
Really good job. We're all very proud of you. Yeah. Seeing it all happen, man.
Means a lot.
We're just
man.
name
It
dropping
does.
now.
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of. I know that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like watch the thing.
Yeah, well.
You know the guy. You know. We shot some stuff
I got his
together.
number. I can call him right now.
Yeah. I can text him if you want.
You're gonna be that guy? Just 1 second.
Yeah.
Oh, it's ringing.
Yeah. Who's the
But, you know,
most
I think
famous
that-
person you have in your phone?
I think the thing that was really so great about this production, though, was that it didn't feel any different from the stuff that, you know, we used to make together.
Yeah.
You know, like Guardian and Platonic and Political Machine, you know, that type of stuff. Like we were all just like so passionate and just having fun and like just doing it. You know, just the act of making a movie alone is kind of what we needed for our souls. You know, like it's a drug, dude. Like filmmaking is a drug.
Definitely.
Let's be real.
Yeah.
You know,
The best kind of cocaine.
yeah, I mean, like, you know, when you're riding that wave of success after a movie, you know, it's like a drug. And then when you come down and crash and, you know, I need to make another movie again, you know, like that's the withdrawal. You know, it's like I have to make another movie. I have to get this creative juice out, you know.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's very much a drug, but
Well, I've heard who's the guy who wrote Fight Club? What's his name?
Chuck Palahniuk.
Yeah.
Yep.
I heard him on a podcast recently, and he was saying that he'll get to a certain point at which he'll be talking to a friend, usually a close friend, and the close friend will ask the question, "You're not writing anything, are you?" Because they can tell that he's strung out, he's drinking too much, he's partying too much, like just too much going on in his life, and they're just like, "You're not writing, are you?" So that's like it's true because it's its own version of its own drug. It's like it's just you really only write when you're doing the thing that you love. Really, at the end of the day.
Yep. 100%.
Otherwise, you're
celebrating on past things too much.
Yeah. Exactly. Well, Aric, thank you so much for coming on, man. It was really good to see you. And chat with you about everything. We were super stoked to see this thing blow up the way it did.
Hey, thank you, and thank you, gentlemen, for having me on. This really was a blast.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's
coming.
This is a little bit more cool for us than it was for you.
Yeah, way cool for us.
No, it was still pretty cool. You know, I mean, like, I love talking shop, man.
Yeah,
you know, it's fun
for sure.
It's fun.
If you like to, what we usually do is we transition into our Nerds After Dark segment where we just talk about what we've been watching this week, and you're very welcome to stick around if you'd like to.
Sure.
Yeah, you want to do it? All right. Well, then we'll just continue the conversation. We're gonna
right.
pump it more. Golden Monkey.
Stuff your goodbyes in a sack, guys. I'm not going anywhere.
Perfect.
I will, however, take this chance to go to the bathroom.
Yes, do your thing.
That's a good idea.
For sure. Yeah.
I might do that too.
Yeah. Anyone need a potty break?
I need a potty break and I need more scotch.
I just need a toilet to sit on while we do our podcast. That's what I need.
Are you going into idiocracy territory? You get the lazy
we
boy?
all just need catheters.
Yeah. Just for the podcast, though. I just need a funnel.
I'll be back.
All right.
Just for fun.
Yeah, just for funnel. Yeah, it's true. But sometimes
man.
no, you need to go pee pee. Go ahead.
Go pee.
That's what I say. That's what I say to Jeff and Buster. Want to go pee pee? You ready? Oh,
we used to do that to Daisy, but she's deaf now. So
right, yeah.
You're just
So she
talking, and she just looks at you like,
yeah.
hello.
Right.
It's great that we we bought a bunch of motion detecting lights that go into your outlets. So like when we're watching movies and stuff like that, the light, it's pitch black, all this stuff, but we've got them in certain locations so that when she kind of sneaks out and walks by the door, it sets off the light. Like, there, okay.
Nice.
So now we know, as opposed to her like sitting next to the door, like whining, because she's super quiet. Like, she's 8 pounds. So she's like, she sneaks. And then occasionally I could catch like the shadow across something, but we had put the lights in so that it would actually trigger us. I'm like, oh, she's at the door. Hold on.
That's a good idea. Like a motion detector.
You know what?
For
it's
your
one of those
dog.
like, we have 3 of them now of these like the in outlet motion sensing lights, and it's I'm mad at myself for not having it doing it earlier.
Yeah.
Because like when you wake up in the morning to like go to the gym and stuff, or it's late at night and I have to work late, but people are going to sleep and stuff. It's nice not to have to turn all the lights on in the house to get around. It's just, I know where the certain points are where the light's going to flip on.
Right.
So it's like, I just go from light to light and it's like, this is beautiful. So I'm mad that I didn't do it earlier.
Yeah.
And just like pepper this house with little motion lights in certain places.
It's those little conveniences, man. That's what makes it all,
and
makes
it's
it all
like,
work.
Yeah.
I guarantee it's one of those, like, it's saved a stub toe or two on multiple occasions.
Yeah.
Where it's like, do I want to turn the light on? No, I can make it. And then like the motion kicks on. You're like, oh, there's a box down there. That would hurt a lot.
Yeah. Oh man, back in the day when I had the Rona almost a year ago, I was already feeling terrible and like just couldn't even walk straight at one point. And yeah, I stubbed my toe because I had this little couch in my bedroom.
Yeah.
That and it's got this little wheels on it, and I hit the wheel. I don't even know how I hit it as hard as I did. Yeah, but with the pinky toe.
Because you were walking committed.
Yeah, for sure. But the pinky toe hit it, and I swear that thing was crooked for a second because it was just like it was surprised. Even my pinky toe was like, "What did you do, bro? This is not good for you." Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back from your pee-pee break. Nico, are we taking a pee-pee break now too?
I mean,
make a pee-pee?
Yeah,
I probably should, but I'll
I'm going to, so you guys can.
Thanos,
might as well.
Hey.
To make the pee-pee.
I'm gonna.
all right, okay.
I want to snap the poop out of you.
Take the schlong out and make the pee-pee.
You want to. Take out your pee-pee and pee-pee for me.
This is why I was excited to be on, because I knew that we were just gonna goof around like this.
It always
idiots.
Yeah.
I haven't been on for like 5 months, but this is usually how it goes. Back then, we try to stay on topic, and then it just evolves into nonsense usually.
Yeah, and then at the end I go, sorry.
Oh man.
So when did you guys actually start all this? So like, assume Matt was at least part of the genesis of the idea. I know he's been in the podcast for a while. But how did it all start?
We took a giant hiatus. It started years ago. Matt was still definitely in LA.
Okay.
It was just the 3. It was Nick, myself, and Matt. And yeah, I would say, man, maybe like 7 years ago we started, and we did a few, and then we all just got busy or whatever, and it went away for a while. And then when Matt moved to Colorado, then somewhere we kind of picked it up again and were more diligent.
They had me come on as a guest like not long after the pandemic hit, and then I kind of just never left.
Yeah.
Well, it's fun, and I never really got into podcasts when they first came out. I literally only started getting into them like this year, or at least last year, 2020. So like I'm just now finally understanding like what it's all about, And
I have 2 podcasts.
Yeah, that's me. I don't listen to podcasts, and I have 2 that I'm on.
Hey, whatever.
Yep.
But I mean, I like them, and I like this kind of thing, like pop culture, anything, movies, TV, music. I love having conversations like this, among friends, and that way, in that regard. So, like, yeah, why not do a podcast about it?
Yeah, especially this last year. It's like,
Yeah, especially this last year, something to do.
Thank goodness for these. Yep.
Yeah.
How'd you guys meet?
College.
And Matt and everything.
Yeah, so it starts with Brian and I. Him and I are fraternity brothers.
Well, we meet like 2004, something like that.
Yeah, 2004. Yeah, we were both in college.
Where'd you go?
Well, at the time when we met, we were both at Missouri Western State University. Then we both transferred after his first year, my second year there, to Missouri State. And you were pursuing filmmaking, right?
Yeah.
Initially?
Well, I was actually a guitar major at first.
That's right. Yeah.
And then I took an editing class, and it kind of morphed into filmmaking. And then I moved out here right after graduation. What did you come? You came like what, a year after me, right?
Yeah, it was almost a year. I think it was like
and then we were
9 or 10 months.
And then we were roommates for
like 6 years.
6-7 years, yeah.
Yeah. But you got clued in with Matt.
I worked with Brent, the guy who did all the sound. I worked with him on shows.
That's right. Yeah, it was Brent Finley.
And then Brent kind of brought me into the Platonic fold, and then it kind of just spiraled from there.
Yeah, because Brian is an editor, and at that time we were all making movies and stuff together, and he was editing stuff at home. Platonic needed a new editor, right? Or they didn't have one at all?
No, I was the original, as far as I know.
Were you the original? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was hired by the time they did the first shoot. I don't know. Yeah.
Okay. But then he was working on all that stuff at home, and Matt was coming over, to be a part of the editing sessions and do notes and stuff like that. So I got to know Matt in those sessions, because I would be home and I'd hang around and we'd chat like this, and just kind of shoot breeze. And I remember he was unhappy with his cinematographer on that project for something.
Well, it's just our post process was weird. I don't know what happened. The miscommunication in delivering, and it just got a little obnoxious. So yeah. And we were like, well, wait, you do this. So
and I was gonna say, like, Brian was like, well, Aric shoots, and I was like, yeah, let's do
that's right,
stuff.
because you did the promo or whatever.
Yeah.
After.
Right, yeah.
You shot
I shot the promo for it.
We shot the promo after we shot the show.
And the Indiegogo video, or Kickstarter.
Yeah.
Whatever one it was.
Yeah. For the second season, yeah.
Yeah.
That we never made.
Yeah. That, Ames Girls, all that nonsense.
So yeah, Aric, I gotta find a picture. I was gonna post it the other day, but I couldn't find it. But I got this great picture of when we shot that Ames's Girls episode at my little house in LA, and Buster, my dog, is like sitting in the shot. Like he's on the floor in front of Eamon, and then another shot where he's just like sitting right next to you, like sitting on your foot or something like that. I was like, it was like, oh, Buster loves Aric. We all love Aric. Yeah. It was pretty cute.
I missed that little house you had.
That was a cool house.
Cool place.
Yeah, that was a really cool house. Yeah. I mean, I missed part of it. I don't miss that it was $2,500 a month, but I missed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know you paid that much for that place. That makes sense, though, I guess. But damn.
Yeah.
Damn.
That's the 4th of July when I come out.
Yeah.
That place?
Yeah, that little place. Yeah.
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 But then, I know that you were fairly unhappy with that and needed a person to shoot, so I got involved with you guys doing that project, and I think that's really what got my wheels going as a cinematographer. Is like, this is fun, And then we also started doing all that Ready Demolition stuff. We were shooting stuff for actors. Like Matt was writing scenes to give to actors, and they would have some stuff for their demo reels, so we were just doing these little vignettes, and it was stuff like, oh, this one needs to this is inspired by Liar Liar, or Fight Club, or you were always inspired by some movie going into that. So like that kind of got me thinking about like how do I make that look happen?
Yeah.
You know, like what kind of things
Right,
go
yeah.
into making a look a look?
Mm-hmm.
You know. So
How do I make
that was
Little
a big
Women
formative.
look bitchin' again? Okay,
Yeah.
keep saying Little Women.
Yeah.
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 What do I do with this?
So, yeah, that was a huge formative experience for me, though.
Yeah,
All
definitely.
that stuff we did.
Well, when you're doing it, you know, it was the reason we kind of stopped doing the demo reel stuff is because it just was so hard to sustain that level of like constantly writing scenes for people, and then you got to shoot them. Really, at the end of the day, spending way more money to make it than we were ever going to make at the time, anyways.
Right. Yeah, at the time.
But what
Right,
was
'cause
cool?
Your client is making a demo reel, so it's not like
Right.
they can drop serious dough.
Yeah.
Right. Well, and the
Yeah.
reason they hired us is because they're unemployed actors.
Yeah,
So,
they need
Right.
to
Yeah.
show their thing.
Yeah. So they don't have a lot of cash, but what was cool is we had to work. It was the speed at which you had to like prep, prep a script and get a location, and so got pretty good at finding guerrilla places to shoot, or maybe it was like the actor was like, oh, I'm also a server at this restaurant. Okay, good. Now
we
you're a
heard that a
server
lot.
in.
Yeah. Now we have a.
Now you
restaurant
work in
set.
a. Yeah, you're either a server in the scene or
Production value just went through the roof.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because there's only so many ways you could shoot your own apartment before you have to branch out. you
Yeah,
know?
exactly. But they're like, but we can only shoot it at 10 a.m. before we open, so we're not going to have. So we do that, and then you just throw in some walla to pretend like that's an actual working restaurant, you know, and you're good to go.
Right,
So
right.
yeah.
Just shoot it tight so you don't see there's no one else there.
Oh yeah. I mean.
Yep. Long lens it.
I just have them do a lot of okay.
Pretty much.
Oh, I'll be right over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so funny because I do
Same guy
that.
walking through the background like 8 times.
Yeah. I do that all the
With a
time
wig,
with like
walker.
B-roll and stuff. Yeah. Even for these like like customer testimonials and stuff I do, where I need B-roll of like the girl who works the counter at the store, and so I will shoot like 85 millimeter like all up in her face, and then be like, okay, now look at someone just walked in, okay, wave, and like that's like literally how I'm doing all of these things is because we don't have like people or actual customers, and we can't ask like every person in town if they want to be in a commercial. So after a while, it's just like we're just making it. Yeah, just turn everybody into an actor. That's the goal.
Yep.
Yeah, but so everybody's been pee-peed and poo-pooed, so that's good. So
I'm currently poo-pooing, so I'll tell you how it goes.
wait for it.
So far, it's
Not great.
It's a good.
it's a challenge.
It's a
good.
spicy meatball.
Too much chalupa.
Don't eat chalupas.
Ugh.
So what's everyone been watching? Anything interesting?
Who here has seen, and I think the answer is just one, but maybe two, the Snyder Cut.
I've seen the Snyder Cut.
Okay, there's the two.
I'm gonna do it. I gotta watch the world burn. I'm gonna do it.
I
I'm
will
not.
watch it.
I'm not
I
doing it.
almost tried to a little bit.
Yeah.
You gotta. It's 4 hours,
I
so
drank
set
it
aside.
today.
It's a
6.
commitment. Yeah. It's a
Yeah.
commitment. But you know, I liked it. It's not perfect, but I liked it. But I'm glad that I saw it at home instead of going to the movie, because I ended up pausing it a bunch.
Oh
you
yeah.
know.
You're gonna
Stuff like
How
going
many
to the
pee pee and
bathroom,
poo poo breaks did you
food.
take in a
Oh,
4-hour
geez.
movie?
Yeah.
I mean,
a lot.
yeah, it ended up. I think it took me almost 6 hours to watch it all,
Yeah.
Mhm.
because you know, between all the stuff I was doing here at home, phone calls and bathroom breaks and that type of stuff, it really added up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it is good. I did like it.
Is it better
It's a
than the theatrical
vision.
version?
Right? It's one
Yes.
vision.
Yeah, it's one vision
In 4x3.
Right.
Well,
That's so annoying.
I mean,
Well, no, you get it's just so the 4:3 thing for me was just like subtitles, where you notice it at the beginning and they're annoying, and then you completely phase out that they're there.
Yeah. For
Like
sure.
by the
You
end of a
know,
subtitled
I'm a
movie,
child of the 80s. I
Yeah.
grew up watching this.
Yeah.
sure,
Right.
sure.
yeah, you just
And
phase
as
out
a
that part.
as a cinematographer, you know, like I understand why they shot it that way.
Okay,
And
why?
I appreciate why. They shot it in IMAX, and I think generally speaking, like when you're shooting in that tall aspect ratio, it creates a bigger scope, you know. And with the scope of the film, you know, basically the world is going to be terraformed by this evil alien guy. Like that's huge, and so like capturing all those characters, I think with that tall aspect ratio, I think was a kind of a smart move. Versus the like 239, you know, widescreen bars, you know. And here's an example of it, you know, like Nolan shot IMAX for Dark Knight and Dark Knight Rises, and that aspect ratio changes in the movie, and I think that bugged me more than watching a full movie in that one aspect ratio.
Mm-hmm.
You know
I
what
didn't
mean?
know that IMAX was 4:3 though. I thought that it was
It's not
widescreen.
4:3. It's like 1.43 to 1 or something like that. It's like, but it's close to square.
Interesting. Because it's old, right? I mean, so did they shoot Justice League on film? Was it like on
No,
IMAX
it's
film?
digital. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
So they
it's
did
digital.
capture it
IMAX
in
has a digital
69.
camera
Yeah,
system.
interesting. Yeah, I was very confused.
Well, no,
by
I mean
that.
they captured it like that in IMAX digital.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. But the only way to show it in IMAX would be to show it in that squarish.
Right. But yeah, like if you've ever seen a movie in an IMAX theater, like the screen is fucking tall.
Yeah.
Very
Like
square.
It's been a
real
long,
tall.
long time.
Because you have
You know.
this, very
And-
stadium seating. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, with the stadium seating and all that in there, like it doesn't feel like it does watching it on your television, seeing the bars, you know, like you just see this whole thing in front of you.
Yeah.
But you know, the bars stand out when you're watching it at home because your TV's not made for that format.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't like it. I was very.
Yeah.
Well,
Like I said, no, you
it's
you
hip to be square.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's
you
not
can
though.
get past it really fast.
Yeah.
Like you said, it's like
I got
it's
past it
like
really fast.
subtitles.
Mm-hmm.
Subtitles are annoying for 5 minutes, and then you totally forget that they're there for the whole rest of the movie.
After 10
Yeah,
of
I
these,
agree.
you don't even know what's happening.
For 10 beers at 10%.
You don't even know
Who
Batman
knows?
from-
10 golden monkeys.
Right. All right.
You're like,
Jeez.
who's the... what?
It's. I heard
I-
this is a Wonder
I've
Woman
got
movie.
I can't even
Or-
spell Batman.
I've got 4 Iron Men in me, and I don't even feel it.
I got 10 golden monkeys and 4 Iron Men.
Mark 4, Mark 5, Mark 6. It's Marky Mark. They're all in there.
And my
Yeah,
chair is covered in cherry red. Hot
Oh,
rod
man.
red.
I tried to cover it in the like because we had talked about the Snyder Cut for a bit now on the podcast. here, and
Yeah.
I think I'd always
Anticipation.
just held like I'm gonna see it because it's enough. It's being proposed as enough difference,
Mhm.
and I would hold to
Yeah.
that statement. I didn't hate it, but no,
I mean, that's
but,
glowing.
right. That's the
frankly.
thing.
For
is I
DC.
didn't hate it
Yeah.
for
Ah,
DC,
yeah.
but it was interesting. I think Snyder did a great job with certain things, and I think Whedon did a better job with other things. So if you were to
Mhm.
blend the two together, you get a pretty solid film, but it still has a lot of like the DC-esque flaws that are in both films, like
Yeah.
stuff that you're just
Mhm.
like, that's not how that works, and we're done here.
Mhm.
But like, so an example I'll say is I like the comic relief in the Whedon cut. You know, when Flash saves Wonder Woman in the tunnel and all of a sudden he's on top of her and he's like, duh, and he's like, that's funny. Like
Mhm.
awkward
Yeah.
teenager Flash is funny.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think Snyder did a better job making the solution a team solution, not just
Yes.
we've now
Yes.
resurrected Batman, all is saved.
Superman.
Batman is just
Mhm.
is a punch kick at the end of this movie. That's his job. Is punch
Yeah.
kick.
He's the
That's
Hulk.
it.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
the
Yeah.
thing,
Well, and I mean, he's the guy that brought the team together, you know?
Right.
And like, because he couldn't do that job alone because he'd literally be killed in a second. But like, he knew that he needed literal gods to help him out.
Yeah,
you know?
it's so the fact that the solution was a team solution is really good.
Yeah.
I like the
Mhm.
there's more Flash. I love that there's more Cyborg, especially since it's not just like ancillary
And
Cyborg
I really,
stuff.
I really loved
deep.
Flash's storyline too.
Mhm.
I loved it a lot.
Yeah.
I think
I
that
haven't
was probably
watched-
my favorite part of it.
I haven't watched the Snyder Cut, but wasn't like the original idea. I don't know if it made it to this cut, but wasn't like the original idea for the movie kind of like built around Cyborg?
This one technically, I mean,
I
you
don't
could
know.
argue that it is.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And I think they did a lot of justice in doing his backstory well and
Justice.
all of that.
Yeah. But I think Whedon handled
Hey,
the Lois Lane better. I like the Lois Lane exposure in Whedon versus the Snyder one, because the Snyder one, it's kind of the same problem I have with Wonder Woman 84, where granted she's sad because Superman died, so pine a little bit, but don't become just this like removed from the world type.
Unable to move on.
Yeah, all you get
You're a
of
strong
Lois
character.
Lane in the Snyder Cut for the first hour is her just going from place to place, being like, "Yeah, he's gone. I know." Like that's it. And you get like 5 scenes that are like that. You're like, "Listen, knock it off."
Yeah, her storyline wasn't that great, personally.
But that's why
interesting.
I like Whedon's approach though, where she's like the quote unquote big gun. You know, she's the secret weapon that they do address in Whedon's cut, that she, you know, Superman was a big part of her life and but then the reveal of her, I think, is better handled in Whedon. The fact that she's just like out for a stroll in the Snyder Cut's like, no, okay.
That's the one thing with the original theatrical release, that when I watched it, so this makes sense. This is big points for Whedon, because Lois Lane shows up early in the theatrical cut with with his mom.
Yep.
With,
We're
Diana
talking about the
Lane.
house.
Yeah.
And then she shows up again as the secret weapon, right, to bring down Superman.
Yep.
And I was like, she needs to not show up till Superman.
Right.
That's a big reveal.
Right.
So if he cut all of that, like tons of scenes of her out, I get him leaving that one scene in the theatrical cut. I go,
Well, yeah,
okay.
and you need to. She
Yeah.
can't
I'll give
not
him
be
that.
there. You know, like, but
Sure.
Oh,
Yeah,
no, she
especially
cannot be
after the
there.
events of Batman versus Superman. You
Right.
know? Like,
I would
She has to
chop her
be.
out till
that
Superman's
moment.
crazy and's gonna murder everybody, and then bring her in, and
Yeah.
then it's like, oh, Lois Lane, I forgot about her.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, that's why the
Yeah.
Whedon one is so good,
the
because you're
only
like,
one to stop him.
Yeah.
wow.
The thing though
Yeah.
that always bugged me about that is that like that his mom's gonna lose the farm. Like Superman wasn't storing some money somewhere or had a bank account with like a
Right.
bunch of like. Come on, get out of here. Like
it was from another
really?
planet.
Yeah. I mean, he had to. He could have swiped some Saudi gold or something and just
Well, it's not even.
packed
It's
it
not
away.
even
I mean,
that.
a Roth
like,
IRA. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah.
Traditional
man.
at least. I don't know.
Got to diversify.
Yeah.
Come on, Clark.
Come on, Clark. But yeah, it will be. I mean, I know I'll watch it eventually. We'll probably do a full episode about it at some point in time.
Yeah,
but-
I don't want
recommend
to
it, man.
taint you to it,
Yeah,
but it's
it's
like you
just
said,
too
it's,
many
Yeah,
hours.
I
it's 4
recommend it.
hours, planned for 6.
Yeah, so many hours.
Yeah.
And
Way to kill a Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah, straight up, dude.
I got Marvel movies to watch, man. Come on.
I gotta watch Falcon and
Got
Winter
your next
Soldier.
2 years.
Yeah, I need to watch that one too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched episode 1.
good.
It's
Yeah.
interesting.
I loved it.
Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yeah,
I
it's
loved
good.
the first episode. I thought it was
But it-
freaking killer.
It's good.
Yeah.
It is good.
I
Yeah.
loved WandaVision.
But
Do I
that's the
care
thing,
about
like,
the characters?
WandaVision was great. Yeah.
I'm WandaVision.
yeah. But see, that's the thing. I got
Um,
through the first 3. I haven't
I like
gotten to crush
weird.
through the weirdness yet, because I have to watch 10 years of Marvel movies first. But besides
Oh,
that,
One every other week.
yeah, pretty much. But
So I
yeah.
was going to ask you when you were talking about that, because you're watching them with your girlfriend. Are you watching them in chronological order or
in release order. Release order.
Theatrical,
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Theatrical.
Because I mean, there's just
So
so
I'm
much
curious about
fun
watching them in
teasy stuff,
chronological.
you know. Like you lose like the
True,
Captain
yeah,
Marvel
yeah.
tease and just
Then
things
you
like that, you know. That
Yeah,
are just
Captain
Sure.
Marvel's early if you do the.
It's first. Well, no, it's Captain
Yeah, it
America's
would be-
first, and
yeah.
then Marvel.
But
But
we're-
even
yeah.
the so if you were to watch them in chronological order, it's you. The Captain America and Winter Soldier problem becomes so much bigger. And my I don't know if you heard this, Eric. My issue with Captain America and Winter Soldier is when Hydra attacks Shield and takes down Shield, it's just Captain America. But at
Right.
this point, the
Where's the
Avengers
team?
exist. So like where's Tony Stark? Where's Doctor? They would have come in and be like,
especially
whoa,
with
whoa.
something like Hydra. Yeah.
Yes, that's the
Yeah.
thing. It's like, so that's my Winter Soldier problem. And if you were to watch them in chronological order, that like Captain Marvel gives Nick Fury like the magical pager, but you don't see that until much later. So it's like, hey, wait, back here when you had this other problem, what was it? Oh yeah, New York. Maybe hit the button.
Right.
So Loki opens a
Right.
portal into space. Maybe send a page out to
Right.
Marvel. I don't know.
Yeah.
So it falls apart if you do it that way. So yeah, I like the
Yeah.
theatrical release order, because chronological falls apart when you try to piece it together.
Yeah, you're
Sure.
putting a movie studio to the fires in an unfair way.
Mhm.
Absolutely,
It's
yeah.
just like they
Yeah.
built off of some random Iron Man movie that hit, and
Oh yeah, 100%.
Mhm.
It'd be an interesting
Yeah.
experiment, but I think you'd get about like 6 in and you'd be like, okay.
Well, I'm excited to go back and watch them only because, like, I love the first Iron Man. I think it's just like it's
Me too.
almost like superhero wise. In a way, it's just like a really perfectly written film. Like it just does all the things
Yeah.
a movie's supposed to do of that genre. But
Yeah.
I've completely blacked out on like pretty much everything around like Age of Ultron, Infinity Wars, the Spider-Man movies. Like I don't remember any of it, so I'm kind of stoked to go back and revisit all of those movies
well,
Nice
again.
trip
that
down
was
memory
your
lane.
big heroin era.
Yeah, that was when I was. Yeah, do not watch Doctor Strange while strung out on heroin. I can
God.
tell you. I can tell you that. Yeah,
Yeah, I bet.
I don't even know how
Or maybe
how do you do a heroin? What is
Where
that?
you chase the dragon.
How
with
do
that.
heroes do his?
The Legend of the White Dragon.
Yeah, inject it under your Infinity
Oh,
Stones.
so
is
it's
that how it
heroin
happens?
now instead of Coke. Got it.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah,
How
we're
do I
back
do
to
a
heroin.
yeah.
Welcome to the.
I would like one heroin, please.
But
I'll just
Winter
take one.
Soldier. Winter Soldier was good. It's the trouble that I have with the Marvel stuff now is that you watch one and you're like, all right, I really need to wait for 3 of them, because one is not enough information, because it's just gonna be like
Yeah.
cool nostalgia, and then like season tease where they tease the whole rest of the season. So that's what you get at the end
Yeah.
of episode 1 is like cool, and then season tease. And you're like, all right.
Well, that's how the Mandalorian was, though. Too. Season 2 of the
the system
Mandalorian
works,
was
I'm
just
not
like
gonna lie.
brutal.
Yeah.
It was brutalizing.
Well, there'll be a time, like probably episode 3, episode 4, where we'll really dive into the character
Mhm.
or characters.
We'll get there.
Personally, like format wise, like when you're writing like a screenplay, like the end of Act 1 is usually that big key moment, and I kind of think of it that way with TV shows. Like episode 3 or episode 4 is usually like a big turning point. In a show really falls into itself, like really gets into a groove with their storytelling. And I think that's always kind of my make or break point with a show when I'm trying it out. Like if I'm not invested by episode 3 or 4, then I need to stop watching this show. So
But what episode is the no thank you bite for you, Nico? It's like
No, yeah, I call it the 3 episode try.
yeah.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
like,
So
I'll-
you're right. You're right
yeah.
in that ballpark with me too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because otherwise,
Yeah.
not gonna.
Well, yeah, because
Not gonna
pilots
do
are,
it.
no offense to pilots, but pilots are pilots. Like they're
Pilots are pilots.
They're
Yeah.
messy.
Usually rough.
It's all exposition.
Proof
you
of
know, you have to
concept.
proof of concept, setting up the world, all that stuff. It takes a lot of time, and it's usually done haphazardly.
Yeah.
and then
you know.
episode 2 is usually
Episode.
a little follow up, and then like they may
Sure.
start something, and then when they get to episode
Yeah.
3, that's when it's really like, okay, this is where we're going.
Yeah. This.
And then
is
if
the
I'm
show.
in, I'm in, and if I'm not, I'm not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
pilots are hard though.
Speaking
you can
of
look
where
back
we're-
on any. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm about to shift the conversation. So
I was just gonna say, like you can look back at any one of your favorite shows, and episode 3 or episode 4 of those shows is probably where you started falling in love with it.
It's probably your favorite usually. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's what it was.
stuff like
with
the Office. Like episode 3 or episode 4 is Diversity Day in
Yep.
season 1, and that's when the Office really started getting good. When they really started figuring out what the hell this show is. But then in season 2, they really started driving that home. But you have to.
That's the
you have
harder
to-
thing.
Yeah.
years
Like-
ago, you could get away with, episode or season 2 or season 3 really hit it.
Right.
And
Yeah.
now it's like
That's
people
true.
are like, did the pilot blow me away? It's like,
No.
Our
Yeah.
That's
expectations
true.
are crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're inundated by content. So like, why keep watching
Oh, yeah.
something for 8 episodes if I can just
If I
go
had
watch
it
something
for
else? Yeah.
Yet, I'll go watch that Joe Pera guy on Adult Swim, and I'll go. I love him. And it's like the most minimalistic thing.
You love you
imaginable.
some Adult Swim though.
Adult Swim's
But
pretty
only
great.
him
Yeah.
now.
Really?
I didn't watch that last Aric Conroy season.
Oh,
changed.
Yeah.
Oh, you did?
It's a
grown.
I
lot.
haven't.
Eric Andre is
Well,
great, but
that's
that
what
show's a
it
lot.
always
He is a
Man.
lot.
Yeah.
He is a
And
lot.
I think I went. I loved it for what
Yeah.
it was, and maybe I'm not that person.
Then he got a little too big, a little too famous.
Maybe I've changed.
And speaking of, before Brian shifts the conversation, we should say, very sad that Jessica Walters passed away today.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't
That
see
one hit
that.
pretty hard.
Voice of Mallory
Yeah.
and Lucille Bluth.
Lucille
and
Bluth.
The
How
mom on Dinosaurs.
80, I
80.
80.
80
Only
years
80.
old.
Yeah, I
That's
know.
80.
Like, that's
Yeah.
nothing, man. Yeah, I'm
But
halfway to 80.
She went out in her sleep though.
Yeah.
I mean, like if
There
she
you
was gonna go,
Mhm.
that's probably the best way to go.
I mean, if you had to rate it, like, who's the better, worst mom that she played, Mallory Archer or Lucille Bluth?
Lucille
I'd
Bluth.
say Lucille
Yeah.
Bluth.
Yeah.
Lucille's-
Yeah.
It's Lucille.
Because
Because
Yeah.
she fucked up 3 of them.
Right,
Yeah.
not just one.
You
Yeah.
know,
Mallory
like,
was still
Mallory
very
only fucked up
active.
1.
Yeah.
Mallory was
Yeah.
kind of a
Yeah.
badass when she had to
Yeah.
be, though, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. She was. Yeah, but yeah,
Mhm.
Lucille was not a good mom at
No,
all.
not at all.
You
I
know,
love all my
you
kids
do a
equally.
great job
I
when
don't care for Job.
they have the option to draw or animate a character to look like anybody, but they choose to animate the character to look just like you.
Just
Yeah,
like the
right.
character,
That's
yeah.
when you know you're doing.
means
a
you're
pretty
doing
good
something
job.
right. Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
It's
Absolutely.
always kind of been like a dream of mine that obviously can't do now. It's like I want to do a live action, even if it's just for fun, but do a live action episode of Archer
Mhm.
and get her.
Oh man,
At least
Yeah.
That'd
she'll
be
look
cool.
exactly the same.
Yeah.
'Cause H. John Benjamin looks nothing like
I like
Archer.
it.
Well, yeah.
no, he doesn't.
Is-
He
what's-
does not.
Yeah.
What's
But
his
it's like-
name? Is it the Krieger voice? Is what's his name's? There's somebody they do a swap where they take one of the voice actors, but he
Oh
is
yeah,
visually
what
a
was
different
that?
character.
Well, I know that Chris
I
Parnell
watched
looks
that
like
show.
Cyril.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Judy
that's-
Greer, you
like,
could
he looks like
you could probably
Cyril.
put Judy Greer in there. She'd look pretty much like
She
Yeah,
could
like
do
her
it, yeah.
character.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she looks a lot like
Yeah.
her.
I don't know who does the
Uh,
sploosh lady. Forget who that is.
Oh yeah.
Pam looks.
Pam?
I think
Pam.
her name is
Sort of
Pam.
Pam-esque.
Yeah.
Actually,
Oh, really?
Pam,
Nice.
Pam.
I think her actual name is Pam.
Oh, it's no, it's Cindy
Am
or
I wrong?
something.
Oh.
Look it up later.
Um,
They'll get us in the comments because we screwed it.
Yeah,
Probably.
right. Please get us in the comments. No one ever gives us
Please.
comments.
But
It'd be fun.
I think one of the things that made Archer great though is that it was literally that Arrested Development archetype. That
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
dynamic between mom and son.
Mhm.
You
Yeah,
know?
it was just
um,
wonderful.
Yeah.
Or
it was
is
awesome.
it still a show? I don't even know.
Yeah, they
think
haven't
so.
finished it, but if Jessica
They're
Walters
starting to
gone-
string it out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, if she's gone, then that'll be really
Mhm.
tough.
it hasn't been funny for a couple years.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they keep doing those spin-off style
Yeah.
seasons.
I think
Which
that's
is
where I
weird 'cause, like,
stopped was
Coma
I
Vice.
Dreams.
didn't mind. I didn't
first-
mind when they went stupid with it.
Yeah.
The first 4 or 5 years,
No.
it was the funniest fucking thing on
Ever,
television.
ever.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Incredibly
Yeah,
sharply
just insane.
written, and yeah.
And I didn't hate the idea of doing those spin-offs, but I feel like they lost some of the essence in the show by doing that.
For
You know what I
sure.
A
mean?
little bit of
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
for
yeah.
And
sure.
I think that was my feeling was I liked them because the show kind of went everywhere it was going to go. Like,
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
not going to top what they had done. So I was
No.
like, there was that first Coma episode or the first season, and it was like the 20s, but they were still very invested in reality. And I was like,
Yeah.
he's in a coma. He should be fighting dinosaurs.
Yeah.
And then one of the last episodes,
Yeah, right.
seasons, he's
Just took a
fighting
couple
dinosaurs.
seasons to
And I
get
was
Get
like,
way more
Actually
surreal.
fighting
Yeah.
I
dinosaurs.
was like, go all in.
Yeah.
Brian, how are you going to shift the conversation? We should go back to
Well, I
you.
was going to ask if anyone has been watching For All Mankind.
Not yet.
It's on the list.
Yeah, it's on the list. Just
oh,
haven't
it's
gotten there yet.
dropped?
Yeah. End of
Yeah.
February, I think it was.
Oh
Yeah.
my God, we're buttholes. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
How are you feeling?
I'm fine. I haven't been
Oh
around,
no, I'm thinking of your show.
How's
and
your
I haven't been on this show for 5 months.
How's your butt?
Yeah, we've missed you. You've been
Yeah.
How
very
many Iron
missed.
Men have been up there in the last 5 months?
Yeah.
So many of them.
Yeah, we
Mark
miss
1
you.
through 7, just in a
Mark 42, all of them.
Yeah, marks that don't exist officially have
Mark
been up there.
Dang.
But no, we'll get around to it for sure. It's definitely on the list.
Yeah.
Yeah, haven't had a whole lot of time to crank too much out. I did hear some really good things about the Billie Eilish documentary on Apple, so I threw that on and promptly stopped it about 14 minutes in. It was
Billie
like,
Eilish, I can't
Good.
do it.
oh yeah, no, I'd love to sit here for 2 hours and listen to an angsty teenager talk. No, this is
Yeah,
terrible.
hard pass.
Yeah, super hard
Yeah.
pass on
Not
that.
to
Hard
be
pass.
not to be a jerk, but it's like I'm not sure exactly what you've done to warrant a expose documentary
Yeah.
at this
Right.
point. Like, no offense, but like,
Which
all
very,
right, we're-
she's
Same
very
thing with, like-
interesting, and like the music is super interesting, and she's very inspirational to other like 16-year-old girls.
Sure.
Like that's what the whole
Sure.
point is like girls who
Not
are
about
going
us.
through their mental stuff. They all love her for like her sort of like transparency and blah 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 blah, which is awesome. But it was just not at all something for a 40-year-old white male. Nah, wasn't working. So
No.
yeah,
hard debate.
yeah.
Well, and it's the same thing
stopped
for
that
like
pretty quick.
Ariana Grande. Like she has a documentary out too, and it's like, what
Yeah.
have you done?
But see, I've
Like,
seen
I know-
all
I
the
know that
Taylor
you're, like,
Swift
a big
stuff, and
pop-
that's great. But I think Taylor Swift is
Sure.
fascinating.
Yeah, she started super young, and she's
Yeah.
had a long career,
Incredibly
long enough to
hardworking
warrant a
and super
documentary,
talented.
but, like,
She wrote like 2 albums
Yeah.
during quarantine. It's like it's insane. Like she's out of
Yeah.
her mind. Like so skilled and so good at what she does. So
Yeah.
that stuff's interesting. But yeah,
yeah, she's
just
had
like-
enough of experience to warrant a documentary.
it's just like when you're sad and privileged. Like I can't go with you on that ride.
Yeah.
Like sorry,
I just
Yeah.
I don't
I don't watch my documentary. I get it.
I get it.
well the thing with
Privilege.
Billie Eilish is like
Hey.
she sings like this the
Yeah.
whole time.
It's
And why
another
she did a
day.
007 song, I don't
It's
understand.
another day.
And
What
like
did she
I just
do?
I don't
Yeah,
Did she do the sphincter one?
No, she did the most recent, the one that hasn't come out yet.
You're talking about
Yeah,
gold.
the one
yeah,
that's-
the one that hasn't come out yet.
No
Gold
Time to Die or Time to
Sphincter.
Die or whatever.
That's the one. That's her song.
No Time to Die. Yeah.
I just
When's
I
that
don't
coming
I
out?
mean
November?
Everything's coming out in November. Like that was the push for everything. They're like, when should we put it out? November. It's like when everyone rescheduled their weddings. They're like, when do you want to do it? On
Oh,
June.
but speaking of that,
20th.
though,
That's the latest possible.
I will give HBO Max full credit for just embracing the release schedule of being like, listen, you're paying for it, we paid for it, it's gonna come to
Totally.
the theater, but
Yeah.
you know what? Screw it.
Yep.
Same day HBO Max, which is
I love it.
I think a fantastically great idea because that was something that HBO Max needed to do because they were already asking people to pay for it and that kind of stuff that they needed to just be like, listen,
And not charging
it's gonna come out
extra.
in theaters
Like
and
Disney.
not charging extra.
Yeah.
yeah, and
Disney.
it's like the most confusing of the streaming platforms so far. Like what is it exactly?
Right.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. I
Yeah.
had somebody
Yeah.
call me on Sunday after Snyder Cut came out, and he was like, "Hey, so I see that you watched it. I'm on HBO Max. I searched for it. I found it. I click it, and it just takes me to like the search results page of other Justice League movies." And I'm like,
Mm.
I don't know, man. So we actually like troubleshot it for like an hour. Turns out that enough people had tried to watch it. It had crashed all the servers hosting it. So HBO
shit.
Max was just like, it was like a null error. It's like, I don't know what this is. Let's
Yeah,
dump you into
404
you
error,
might like
I think.
this.
Yeah. Wow.
That's amazing.
Wow. I mean, that says something about the demand to watch the Snyder Cut
Although you'd say
and the power of streaming.
the HBO app is can be very weird sometimes. Like it'll bring up
Yeah.
the
Oh, for sure.
ad for the thing that you want to watch, but you can't find the thing that you want to watch
Yeah.
like anywhere because you would just
Yeah.
think that it's in the suggested or the new, but
Oh, yeah,
instead
when I
it's like
watched
just
it, it was
another
like-
episode of Euphoria. You're like, wait, what is going on?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was the topmost.
By the way,
header
watch that show.
yeah.
Sorry.
Euphoria?
for
Go
you.
ahead.
Euphoria.
Yeah, just quick footnote. Watch that show. It's awesome.
All right.
I've heard
Zendaya
that.
one?
It's probably one of the most like visually captivating teenage stories I've ever watched.
You lost me
And
at
it's-
Lost
teenage.
me at teenage.
very-
Ah.
well, it's Zendaya, the girl from Shake It Up, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
But
Spider-Man.
or Spider-Man.
Yeah. I don't think Zendaya
Brian-
from
It's the
Shake It
wrong
Up.
audience
Yeah.
for
will
that.
know her from that.
Gotcha.
Um,
Yeah, MJ.
But she actually turns in a pretty solid acting
Oh, she's a
performance.
good actor.
And
She won the Emmy.
it's- Yeah, she
Wow.
won an Emmy for it, and the cinematography in it is incredible.
Mhm.
Like just the way that they tell the story visually about this girl who is, coming out of rehab and like dealing with drugs and growing up as a teenager, that type of shit. It was just really honest and really like they gave it everything, and I was blown away by the show. I was like, this is one of the coolest shows I've ever watched from HBO.
Nice.
And
I
that
have to
says
check
a
that out.
lot about
Yeah.
HBO.
Yeah.
Oh, they're doing
You know?
some good stuff, man. They're doing
Yeah,
some really
man,
good stuff.
they really are.
I mean, their track record's generally pretty good between
It's
the original
solid.
stuff and the
Yeah.
docs.
I started
Yeah.
the QAnon doc. Have you guys seen any of that yet?
I almost
what, Doc?
did. I
Yeah.
think I'm going to.
It's interesting. The
doc?
QAnon, it's called Down the Rabbit Hole or something like that, and it's
Oh, okay.
God.
a guy who got like kind of interested in the QAnon thing, so it's his thing, and it's good. It's very traditional doc style, like in terms of like mid to late like 40s guy gets interested in a thing and carries a camcorder around and record. So it's got that feel to it.
Honest knowledge.
But it's really interesting because it's not what you think, and the players in it are not who you think they are. It has nothing to do with anything you think it has to do with, and it's really interesting. But it's got the coolest opening sequence of any show out there right now. Like everyone's Dexter kind of like blew the door open for opening sequences, and this one has this super wacky like red pill sort of like snake going through Washington DC's map. It's really, really cool. Definitely worth watching that. But it's interesting. I would definitely say check it out because if you guys like docs, so it's definitely worth the
I
worth
do
the
love
trip.
a good doc.
I get the QAnon thing. I don't know if they get into it, but I feel like it's very like Christian apocalypse type of stuff. That's like kind of right.
It
there.
has some feelings of that.
grabs and-
There's only 2 episodes out so far. I think they're doing 6 or something like that. So far they talked to some of the major alt-right like people who kind of got involved in it from that perspective. But really what these 2 episodes are is like they're talking to the guys who owned the message boards, like the whatever I don't know what you call them, the picture boards or whatever they call them, where kind of memes were built. They talked to them and they're talking about it sort of from their perspective. And I mean, the guy who owned / ran the one that Q eventually started using all the time, he's he has brittle bones disease, and he's this little guy who like is in a wheelchair. Like it's just none of these things that you think are what they are happening. It's just really interesting. Yeah. It's pretty fascinating stuff.
Yeah.
Definitely.
All the stuff
Q
that
seems
looks
kind of
fascinating.
fun. It's wacky.
It's a good one.
It's
Yeah.
so wacky.
It's a
What if
wacky.
this was
He's a
reality?
wacky guy.
Wild and crazy guys.
Right.
Just-
It's like
Don't sue us,
Christmas
SNL.
Story where
Please.
the kid's got the decoder and he's like learns the Ovaltine thing.
Yeah.
Bad. But it's like got that aspect to it.
Yeah. A crummy commercial.
There's something I have to solve, and there's all these crazy lizard people. Yeah, that sounds fun. I'm kind of tempted. I'm like, why not? This sounds great.
Sounds kind of fun.
Yeah.
Speaking of lizard people,
Let's get some lizards.
Resident Alien on Sci-Fi got picked up for second season.
Second season.
I don't know if you
Nice.
guys- I think I talked about that one a bit ago. It's the one with Alan Tudyk who
Mhm.
plays
Man.
an alien that crashes and takes
I do
over the
love
body
Alan
of a
Tudyk.
doctor, and then the doctor as the doctor is like the little town doctor, but he's trying to find his like apocalypse machine,
Yeah.
but he's becoming more human. It's kooky and good. It's got a little bit more heart than it needs, but it's fun. But it
Yeah.
got picked up for second season, which is crazy for like Sci-Fi Channel.
Yeah.
I tried.
Yeah.
I'm trying so hard to laugh at the jokes. I'm trying so hard. It's just not fucking funny. Like it's like Alan Tudyk win, and like I don't think it's him. I think the writing's not good. It's or they're having him play it just too awkward. Like I want to like it so bad.
That's the
Right.
part I like
They
is
just
that he
forgot
is
to make it funny.
uncomfortably awkward.
Yeah, and that's not funny. It's dumb.
Well,
Maybe I just relate too
there's a
much.
Feel like
particular
you've been too dicked over.
there's a particular look to so many things cable and so many things like sci-fi in particular. I just don't like watching the shows. They just feel just so cookie cutter in the way that they're shot
Right.
and
like
lit,
they're
and
like
the
80% of the way
script
there.
just feels like it's just like, oh yeah, like just they didn't put they were just like, we'll get the cheaper lights. Like that's kind of how it starts to
gotcha.
feel.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just don't go that direction. But I know my parents have watched it and they love it. So definitely has quite a diverse and interesting audience. So yeah,
Nico and parents,
Nico and parents.
right.
Yeah,
who is soon to be a parent.
yeah, he is. Yeah, did you know that, Brian? Were you around? Have you been around to know that?
What?
Yeah, Nico's
yeah.
wife is preggers.
Oh yeah, I did.
We
Congratulations,
don't know who
by
the
the
father
way.
Yeah,
is.
congratulations.
Thank you.
You got all the toys already.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
This little guy is he's set. I don't have to buy Christmas presents for like 15 years.
Yeah. But don't touch these. Okay.
Yeah, I'm just all
Don't touch
These are
these
daddy's
ones.
toys.
Don't
Yeah,
touch
these
your
are my
presents.
toys. They're very valuable.
Yeah, and your uncle Eric got you something, but it's up his ass.
It's a hand-me-down Iron Man.
That's right. It's a hand-me-down. It's got a lot of character.
It's well
Reach on
worn.
up there and get it.
If you give him a big hug, it's like a dirty pinata.
Don't squeeze, don't squeeze, don't squeeze.
Ah,
Okay,
Oh.
clinch.
Oh, there you are, Mark 42.
But so
42.
speaking of how I love everything, I did watch something this week that I hated.
Yeah, you did.
I
Now,
watched.
don't say too much because I think I want to watch it, but go ahead.
No, it has redeeming qualities, but
What
I
is it?
hated it. It's
What is
it's
it?
called I Care a Lot. It's on Netflix.
Oh, you gave that a 1.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
did.
A solid one.
It's super interesting because it breaks the rules where Rosamund Pike won the Golden Globe for Best Actress, and my rules would
Okay. And I like her.
Yeah, my rules are that's a 4 out of 5. I can't get past it. Like the content of the movie is it elicits feelings that are like, ooh, that's edgy, but then you're like, no, I don't want these, and I shouldn't have these, and how dare you like try to make me have them? And I couldn't get past that. And then there's literally a point where I was looking at Andrea and I was like, we kind of looked at each other and said, if the movie ends the way we think it is, I'm gonna be super pissed.
I'm
gonna be real
walking out
pissed. Yeah, I'm walking
of
out of
my
our-
own house.
Of my own house. Because it was like they're setting it up for
Netflix a
this
letter.
huge letdown, and they almost got there, but it was to the point of like we got done and the credits rolls. We looked at each other like, "Damn it, that sucked."
It's funny. That's how I
Yeah.
felt about Tenet.
Oh, wah, wah, wah. Well, I
Do
never
I need
finished
to
it,
watch
so
Tenet? Do we need
And
to do
I haven't finished Tenet.
Are we
try.
gonna? Don't bother.
It's either that or Lord of the Rings, Brian. Your choice.
Okay, fine, Tenet.
How long?
You guys
Tenet
couldn't have
free
done
out?
Lord of the Rings when I was on a hiatus.
No, we were waiting.
Yeah,
No,
what
we
the hell?
waited for you.
We were waiting for you.
We're doing all.
Eric, did you know that Brian has never seen any of the Lord of the Rings movies? Can you believe that? Isn't that I don't know. I was surprised when I heard that the first time.
Well, he never had any pressure from me. I'm not a big Lord of the Rings fan.
Yeah.
But
Thank
I have
you.
seen him.
Right.
Yeah.
I have seen him. I agree with Kevin Smith's sentiment about Lord of the Rings in Clerks
What's that?
2.
What's he say?
About it's like 3 movies, 9 hours long, about a couple of people walking. It's just a bunch of walking. You know,
Kinda.
like sure there are these grand battle scenes and all this crap, but like at the end of the day, it's just a super long ass movie.
It's got
about
some moments,
walking.
like some good.
Matt's
It has
triggered.
moments, sure.
Yeah.
I mean,
A
it has
little
moments.
bit.
Like, and I don't want to diminish the story or anything.
I'll diminish the fuck
But,
out
like,
of it.
It just didn't grab me. It's
Yeah.
just not. It's not my style.
It's grabbed me. I got a Gandalf up my butt, so that's where I'm
Your
at.
hobbit hole.
Yeah.
It grabbed you in
Yeah,
very
in your hobbit
inappropriate
hole.
ways.
But it's fine.
That-
It's Ian McKellen.
those
He
movies
He's
are
likes
about
hard
to
though,
get
'cause
second breakfast, huh?
it. Yeah.
Even reading those types anything that has like its own lore, and then the lore has lore, and then you've got to learn names, places, geography, history. Once you've
Right.
got to once you have to actually invest in something, either you're in and it's great, or you're just like, I can't, and then it's you're out. Like
Mhm.
that's one of those movies where like You can't.
Yeah,
That
that's it for
movie.
me.
That movie already has like 10 years of history before you even walk in the theater
Right.
that you need to be aware of. And that's not for everyone.
Right.
That's
You're a
hard.
bad
Yeah,
salesman.
For sure. For sure.
And that's where
I'm not trying to sell it.
Because we're doing it
That's
next
where-
week.
One
Yeah.
of the Hobbit movies, it's like Orlando Bloom is and what's her name from Lost.
Evangeline Lilly.
Yeah, they're like peering
Mhm.
over a hill, and he's like, "Here's the castle of Galungador, in the Isle of Spelungadus," and you're like, I was like, okay, I'm out. This is
Like,
where
right over my head.
You
right
know
on.
what's probably
Yeah.
gonna happen? I'm
it's
gonna
a critical
watch it
mass.
and go, "Oh my god, guys, I'm in love."
I loved it. I loved
The
it.
Hobbit movie?
Watch that happen.
That's what I
Okay.
want to happen.
Do
You know,
it.
that
You
might be
do
the
it,
biggest
and
surprise ever.
Yeah.
I will talk to you about it.
That's what I
will not
need to
rewatch
happen.
them, but you watch.
You will
the
not
Hobbit.
rewatch
Yeah.
them.
There was
Yeah.
a whole lot of interest about the making of it, and the whole that. Ugh,
Oh,
yeah.
the politics of the making.
Well, it's
Everything
that's
about the making.
that is an interesting thing just
It's
by
like
itself.
Alien 3.
What's that?
Just the making of
The
it
scope
is
of it.
10 times more interesting
Yeah.
than the movie itself.
Yeah,
Well,
or the
they
Abyss. Or
shot those
Titanic.
3 movies in sequence, and they basically made everybody essentially like resign their SAG, whatever you call it, membership during that time, because they knew that the
Sagginess.
schedule of the movie was going to necessitate like 12 to 16-hour days. And they did, and these guys just like worked. It was like craziness. And
Yeah.
the scope of it was just out of
in
control.
that regard, I respect it. Like I would never say don't watch it. By all means, give
I'd
it a
say
shot.
watch it and
Especially
love it.
for the visual achievements and all of the things that they put into those movies
Mhm.
are worth giving it a watch.
Oh yeah.
But I
Talking about
just
the
didn't-
originals, right?
Yeah.
The original ones, yeah.
Not the
Like
Hobbit.
the Hobbits, we
The
don't
Hobbit.
talk about the Hobbit.
No, the Hobbit.
Yeah, the Hobbit, whatever.
The Hobbit
about
can
that.
eat
But
a
yeah,
dirty
the original
Iron Man.
trilogy, sure. Yeah.
Eat a dirty Iron Man.
Yeah.
I
I'm
mean,
gonna steal that.
they deserved all the accolades that they got, and like
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings is one of those kind of worlds that like you either absolutely love it or you absolutely hate it.
I
There's
actually had a
no,
guy.
like,
I had a
middle
guy
ground,
leave
really.
a job interview I was on
Middle Earth.
because he asked me the really bad question at a job interview of, if you could be doing anything and money wasn't an option, what would you do for the rest of your life? Obviously, the first answer is like, I want to do insert what I am applying for this job for, right?
Mhm.
Like, I want to be
Sure.
a computer programmer building stuff
Yeah.
for blah blah blah. But he's like,
I just wanna
no,
make
don't
money."
answer that. Say the other answer. It's like, okay, the other answer is I would love to professionally review movies. And he's like, okay, so give me your top 5 movies of all time. It's like, well,
Mhm.
that's a trick question because,
Yeah.
and I think I got to like, it was like number 3. I would probably in a certain
4
realm, I would,
hours later.
yeah, I said, I think I said like, yeah, I would have to throw Lord of the Rings as a trilogy into this, not just one particular one. And the guy literally got up and left the room.
Because he was so excited.
No, he was so upset with my
Yeah.
answer. He left the room.
It's like,
I-
all
I
right,
looked-
you want to be a critic and this is your favorite movie?
Because he's
Wow.
probably the
Yeah.
kind of guy who would say
Wow.
The Godfather, and he's only seen it once, probably.
Well, and I'll just
Right.
put it this way, I didn't get that job, but,
Yeah. He needs it.
but still, I thought it was like, I didn't realize Lord of the Rings had that much clout that somebody was literally like, I'm done with this interview. We're not hiring
you
him. Move on.
lost a job.
Yeah.
Mm.
He
Yeah,
asked you
lost you
stupid
a
questions, so
Well, and it's
Screw
like,
that guy.
this was one of those fun job interviews in like the tech world where it was 4 hours long.
Oof.
And each hour
Oh,
is with
man.
a different division. And this was like,
This
this
sounds
was
like
the-
the Snyder Cut.
yeah, exactly.
yeah, the Snyder
was-
cut of interviews. Holy
This was
shit.
the same guy who asked me a question about, do I have any patents? And I said, I don't, because I've always worked for companies. And according to patent and employment law, if you create something under the guise of an employer, you do not own it. And he looked at me,
Right.
and I was like, wait, have you been filing patents?
Ah.
While, and he's like,
you not
well, I'm
know
a
this?
contractor. I'm like, I'm pretty sure your contract still says, and that
You might
so I
need to
think I was
look into
already
that.
like, I was already not on his like good guy radar, and then
Yeah.
That's
Lord of the
funny.
Rings, it just might have been like his panic button.
Like, I
Yeah.
can't do
Lord
it.
of the Rings was his way to go. Oh, I can pretend I
It's
hate
like,
this.
All right,
Right.
yeah, fuck this guy. I'm out.
Yeah, right.
Well, and I learned about that rule from Silicon Valley, actually, the show Silicon Valley,
Mhm.
because that was one of the big cruxes of the first season, was that the main character created this property while he was working under
Yep.
the Google inspired companies.
Yeah. Well, it's the whole it's the crux of Facebook, too.
Right.
And I can name drop. My best friend was in the movie when the Facebook, when he starts building Facebook, but the Winklevoss twins go to build the other one. My best friend was worked for the company that was developing the other Facebook.
Oh wow.
Oh,
Friend
shit.
out here.
Yeah,
Wow.
Fred out there. Yeah. So he they called him the Winklevi because
Mhm.
the Winklevoss twins. So
Sure,
yeah, he sent me, it doesn't exist anymore, but I have an account on that site. My buddy's like, hey, check this thing out. I'm like, what is this? It's like some college yearbook thing. He's like, kind of like, okay.
Was that Harvard Connect? Is that what they were calling it back then?
No, it
They-
was I blacked it out now. It was like Connect You.
Nice.
Oh, I
yeah, that's
remember
right.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Connect you.
Yeah. So
That's
he sent
great.
me
With just
I've got like
the you, right?
Yeah, I've got nick.hill at
Mhm.
connectyou.com probably.
Wow.
Wow.
So that's my I can name drop too. Look at me.
Hey, yeah.
But no, that was the same thing
From-
with Facebook, was that the Winklevoss twins had hired/paid him to build this thing. And he's like, yeah, I'm doing it. And then secretly building Facebook. And then one boy's like, whoa, it's totally different. And everyone in the world was like, no, it's not.
Right.
Yeah.
Like,
Not
are you
really.
kidding?
Literally
It's a
everyone in the
social
world.
network platform where people at colleges can meet each other. So
Yeah, like I'm not seeing
kind of
it.
the
Yeah.
same thing.
So yeah, that's the whole guys about, creating
Yeah.
work while under contract or under the employee.
Well, the Winklevosses are doing just fine.
They are. They
Mhm.
Oh yeah, they just, what did I see about him?
Not the guy who played him in the movie, that's for sure.
I know.
Mm-mm.
Army's not doing
No,
well.
No.
Army's
He's
definitely not
eating
doing
it
great.
Army's
right
sending
now.
dirty Instagram
Is
messages.
that what it was? Okay, I missed the Army Hammer train.
Yeah, Army
Apparently
Hammer
he's
Train
into
was very
cannibalism.
dark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is fine.
But he's the Lone
And
Ranger.
frankly, girls seemed to think it was cool.
Well, it's
until
Army
they-
Hammer.
Yeah,
There's two of them. So it's I really have
So
to
one gets
work.
the army and one gets the
asses to
hammer.
elbows.
Yeah, like the girls thought it was all fun and games until they realized he was serious.
Well, and
Yeah.
then Deshaun Watson, the quarterback from the Texans, who's like he's not a free agent or anything like that, but he wants to be traded, and so he's kind of like been this hot topic for like 2 months, where it's like, where's he gonna go? Because he's like one of the best in the league. He's kind of a Dak Shepard.
Dak Shepard. Oh yeah, that's
Yeah,
a good
he's a Dak
comparison
Shepard
from
type of
my
guy.
point of view.
Yeah, no, like a Russell
And he's
Wilson-esque
really
type of guy.
chomping at the bit like Armie Hammer.
But then, like a few days ago, he got sued by two masseuses, who he like had hit up on Instagram in some cities that he was in, and basically like was trying to get him to give him a tug and a rub. And so now he's suddenly not intriguing to any
He's
NFL
up to like
team.
16 class actions now.
Yeah, it's
Like
crazy.
16
right?
civil suits.
Like apparently that's his thing, and it's just like, dude, you're so like famous and so wealthy, you can get that without telling anybody. Like you can get that without going on Instagram. Like just do your thing, man. Just like it's just crazy. Yeah,
Yeah.
like just make it work for you. But
and on
some
the
people
flip
just
side of
have
that,
their
some
thing.
people might be like, wait, if he keeps going like this, I can just record all of it and I'll get paid.
Right?
Not saying they're all doing that. I'm not doing that. I'm just saying that's a thing that exists.
Did you offer to
Money
give
is money
Deshaun
is
Watson
money.
a massage?
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah.
It was free, man. I was like,
But you're on my Snapchat now, son.
I didn't have
whoops.
anything going on that day, so
yeah, this is Sunday. What do you want? He wasn't in the playoffs.
You know what I want you guys to watch? I thought was very interesting, and we could talk about it if you want at some point. But the Blockbuster documentary, which ironically
Oh,
is
the
on
last
Netflix.
Blockbuster?
yeah, I just
Yeah.
watched that this
Yeah.
week. Yeah,
Yeah,
It's a dog.
and
Netflix.
my buddy Mike
Netflix.
that I was talking about earlier, Mike Blevins, he actually went to that store.
to that
in
store.
Bend.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because it's a
Yeah, 'cause
legit tourist location now.
yeah,
It's pretty
yeah,
crazy.
He bought like a hat and a T-shirt
Yeah.
and some socks and all that. But
Where
yeah,
was it
it's like
at?
It's in Bend,
it's in
Oregon,
Bend, Oregon.
which is not a terrible
But
place to
it's-
visit. So it's actually
No,
kind of a
no.
fun trip. Yeah.
I would love to go up there. I've never been to Oregon or anything, but Bend would definitely be the place I'd love to go more than Portland.
Yeah.
But
Well, there was
yeah,
a-
it was cool. It was the documentary was really well done, and I think it really captured like the whole familial element to why that place is open at all.
Yeah.
It's-
You know,
Interesting.
Because it's
it was
still
like it was always just a family business to them. Like that
Yeah.
was like a family franchise, and like they just hit this weird pocket of America that kind of just appreciated stuff like video stores, and they just kept it alive. And like, you know, people go there and rent movies all the time. And but it was stuff like the manager, like if they don't have a movie, she goes out and buys it.
she goes to
You know, like that
it's
day.
like that's just
to
insane to
make
me
sure
though
that they have it,
that the
you know?
store exists because she's like, oh yeah, customers will say, do you have this movie? And we don't. I said, well, but I'll get it for you, you know, next week. So they'll literally like, she'll go to like Target,
Could do what the person had
buy
done.
the movie so that a person can rent the movie. And I'm just like, I can almost guarantee you that movie's streaming somewhere as well. So it's just,
Yeah.
but people
Yeah.
are still obsessed with the idea that they can go and talk to a person and get recommendations, and that's
Sure.
what they want. They want to have a location to go to. It's fascinating.
Yeah, and I learned a lot of stuff about Blockbuster as a company too.
Yeah,
you
it's
know?
really interesting.
Was
Like-
it even a company anymore? Or is it just like those people that own that store? Like that's all that's
It's
left of
just a
Blockbuster?
name
Well,
now. Like Dish
yeah,
TV
it's a
bought
name
them.
now that they have to get
They just rent the name
permission
basically
from
per year.
Dish. Yeah,
But
basically.
it was so many, like most Blockbusters were franchises. So you're basically you were you know working with their capital and all that kind of stuff. But it's owned by a family that actually owns it
Sure.
as a franchise. So yeah, it's
But yeah,
They
I mean,
were
it was
like the
weird
Walmart
stuff
when
like
they started. They
What's
were
that?
well,
sweeping
like
through all
back
the
then,
yeah.
the reason why video rental was even a thing was because movies on VHS or Betamax or Laserdisc were like $100 a piece, and it was like, well, it was cost prohibitive for people like us to own them, and so there was places like Blockbuster, but the like Blockbuster made it different because you could literally walk around the store and hold the movie in your hand and read the book and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Instead of just all of them being behind the counter and saying like, "Hey, I want this movie," you know. So and they just expanded rapidly,
Yeah.
and they just
you guys
didn't do anything to protect themselves.
Did you guys remember going to a Blockbuster like the movie came out and you were so excited to see it? And do you
Oh,
remember
yeah.
like the feeling of the soul crushing defeat when you get there and it's just like the cover? There's no
Yeah.
actual. They're all
Yeah,
sold out.
yeah.
Nothing
Yeah,
behind
they're all
it.
sold out.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember
Yeah,
just
and
wanting to throw myself on the floor and cry
Go,
whenever that
why
happened.
is Ghoulies always sold out?
yeah, but yeah, they spent a lot of time in the doc talking about like the nostalgic act of trying to find a movie at
Yeah.
Blockbuster. You know, it's kind of like how we search for a movie on Netflix. You know, or we just keep scrolling and scrolling and scrolling and scrolling until we finally
You
find
did
something.
that
You know,
there.
that grabs you.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did that literally in the store on our feet.
Yeah.
Right.
But that was
Exactly.
like,
And like
small
holding the
because you could go
actual.
The tapes.
genre.
But there was
genre.
Right,
the only
the
search
genres
option you
and
had
that,
was
yeah.
talking to a employee. You know, you can't just like type in something in the search bar.
I
You
worked
know, you
at
had
the
to go off of their recommendations, like, "Hey, I like this movie. Is there anything else like that?" And they were like, they're basing it off of whatever they've watched. You know, like they're like the computer makes it a lot easier for that type of thing. So, there was just a certain like unique experience about going to grab a movie at Blockbuster.
They always talk
You
about
know?
the
Oh, yeah.
smell. Everyone talks about the smell. Like they're like,
Yeah.
they all smell the
Yeah.
same.
Steal
Smell of it,
popcorn
yeah.
and candy.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I worked at the one at the grocery store over here. There's a grocery store. Well, it's actually right next door to where my studio is, called Steele's, and it had it was Johnson's before, and it had a video rental in it. So, and I actually worked there. Which
that's
is,
right.
Yeah.
I was
And-
trying to think because there was the one in Johnson's, then there was O Video, which was
O-Video.
like the big one,
Yeah.
and then there was one up where across from the skate park, that was like another like the Family Fun Video or something.
Oh
like that.
yeah, that's right.
But it was like a converted Pizza Hut
By
or something.
Arby's?
It was, yeah, up by Arby's.
No, it was an
Yeah, it was-
A&W.
That's what it was. It was an A&W
Yeah,
root beer. And they
A&W root
converted
beer,
it to a
dang.
video rental store. So
Yeah.
it didn't
Wow.
quite have the,
Yeah.
you know.
But the store, it was funny because I like, so I would have been in high school at the time working there, and I distinctly remember always walking by, like, because we had a few, not, they weren't like porn or anything like that, but
Jokes.
they were like
Softcore.
barbed wire, with Pamela
Oh, like the
Anderson.
NC-17.
Yeah, and so whenever you'd have like
Mhm.
somebody rent that one, it was just always kind of like this. It was like having to ring up, someone buying condoms. It was just always a little bit, all right,
Oh, I
guy,
remember.
make sure this is back by Tuesday at 8:15.
O
It's like, I know
Video
what you're gonna
had.
take this home and do.
Yeah.
O Video had the beaded
Fall
curtain
asleep.
and the cowboy
Yeah,
double doors.
yeah. Ovidio had the
Yeah, the
legit.
saloon
And
doors.
when I
Yeah.
turned,
Yep.
I remember when I turned 18, we went in there and I was like, I'm 18 now. I walked back in there
That'd be a big
and it's
deal.
like all the oversized boxes, which was always hilarious. That like regular
Yeah.
VHS was this big, but for some reason adult movies were just like extra large.
Yeah.
So it was always like, what's happening? And then you get in there and you're like, I don't know anything. That one, like, you
Like,
just-
do I need to watch Iron Man in my asshole 4 to understand
Right, yeah.
Right,
8?
do I
Right,
need to see the
understand
first
1, 2,
two?
or
Yeah.
3.
So I get
I
that.
mean, it helps, but you don't have to.
Yeah.
So I just grabbed one. It was like
I can't keep up with all these superhero
Beach
pornos.
Party 25 or something like that. I grab it, I walk out, which obviously with the saloon doors and the beaded curtain makes a bunch
All the
of
noise.
And then one of our
Yeah.
classmates' friends was in like the kids section, just kind of looked at me like,
Hmm?
and I was just like, you know what? It's too late now.
And you're like, "What's up,
Well, I'm
kid? You
coming,
want to have a
yeah.
good time
I'm
tonight?"
I've got this.
I'm in. Yeah.
And then you like grab like something else on the way by, like, Inspector Gadget. Okay.
Yeah, also that.
And also this.
Speaking of
Inspector
NC-17, I've recently learned that there were multiple cuts of Mrs. Doubtfire.
Really?
Yeah, because of Robin Williams's improvisational
Oh, I can see
ways.
that.
Hi, Remy.
That's awesome.
Uh,
I don't know
but
about
like, I guess like Christopher Columbus was quoted in saying that an R-rated version of the movie actually exists somewhere, and
Wow.
I'm
Nice.
dying to see that movie.
that'd be
Yeah,
cool.
right.
Release the Columbus cut.
Yeah,
Yeah, give me that Columbus.
the
cut,
4-hour-long
like-
Columbus cut
Yeah.
in
four
black
hours.
and white.
What was it?
4:3.
PG-13, R, and NC-17 rated version.
Wow.
Well, I remember I watched an interview
Yeah.
with Pierce Brosnan once. I don't remember what it was, but he was talking about
Pierce
at the dinner
Brosnan,
table.
if there's not a more adult name.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well,
My
they're
name's Pierce.
shooting the
Imagine
dinner
him as a
scene
kid.
where Robin Williams has to keep, being at one table as himself
Yeah,
and one
two
table as
different
Doubtfire.
tables.
Right.
They were talking
Yeah.
about the coverage once they shot Robin Williams and they would switch to Pierce Brosnan's side and his side of the table, and they were shooting the coverage and said at that
Mhm.
point we let the child actors go, and we
Uh-huh.
said Robin Williams just went for it and said like the most heinous dirty things you can ever imagine.
Right?
Like because he wasn't on camera, he was just feeding lines, but he just
Mhm.
fucking went for it.
So, I mean,
Cocaine,
if you're
man.
unfamiliar to his stand-up, like his stand-up is
It was
raunchy.
bad, yeah.
But it's funny as
It
shit
is
though.
raunchy.
Yeah.
So like that informed me about what those cuts might be like, and I'm like,
Yeah,
I kind of want to see that R-rated cut,
yeah.
you know,
That'd be sweet.
just because it would be like, I miss Robin Williams, man. I would love to see something
Oh,
new
sure.
from him, like
Yeah.
however old that movie is, it was still feel
we
new
should
to me.
start a. Hey, you did it. You put the hashtag up. Good job, Nico.
Yeah.
Release the Columbus cut.
Columbus cut. The
Right under
Columbus cut.
Italian Thanos. So
And Italian then. If he's in it, if
All right, yeah, come on, Marvel, give us Italian Thanos.
do you think Brolin can do an Italian accent? I hope so.
No.
Who would we get in replacement of Brolin?
Just
Stanley Tucci.
Like Sacha Baron Cohen, maybe? Like, I don't know.
I like Tucci. Done.
Stanley Tucci, all right.
Bruh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a night that I was bartending at the last place I worked at in LA, and I was like getting close to closing time, and the
Was
place
that
was
the name
kind
of the
of
place?
crazy.
The last place I worked at?
Yeah, there should be a place called that because everyone's got one.
It's a good bar name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this guy walks in, and I like slide over the menu. I didn't really see who was busy, blah, 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 and I look up, and yeah, it's the Tooch, and he's like sitting there, and he's had a couple already, and he's ordering
Of
some
course
wine,
he has.
and then he
Oh,
looks
yeah.
over here, and there's the Coen brothers. They're standing there, and then Frances McDormand because she's married to one of them, and then whoever Stanley Tucci's wife is, and stuff like that. And I was just like, yeah, it was just like, oh, this is These are some of my favorites of all time, you know, and you guys are just a little bit drunk. Maybe I should ask you to.
This job. I love
Yeah,
this
can I
job.
be in your movie? Yeah,
You guys need an actor for a part?
yeah. Do you,
Be a dead
Well,
body.
and
oh no, if you know
I don't know
this,
if
but I'm an
you
actor.
guys are familiar with it, but there was a documentary. I watched it on Netflix. It was called Fat Man and Little Boy, and it was the
Sounds
guy
familiar.
that played Farva and the guy that played Mac in Super Troopers. I can't remember
nice.
their names right now, but it was this like stand-up comedy slash like candid like storytelling sort of thing where like they were both on stage for moments and then each of them were on stage telling their own unique stories, and Mac was telling a story about how they got, what was it, like Soderbergh and Tarantino, and there was another one of those big indie filmmakers at that time period at Sundance to go see their movie. And he basically like acted like a waiter at this restaurant because all those guys they were there watching screenings for stuff. They had their own movies in the contention and everything, but they were just kind of shooting the breeze. And so he kind of like weaseled his way in and like asked them what they wanted to drink and bought them drinks. And then like later on he came clean and was like, look, I have a film in competition right now. I'd love for you guys to come check it out. And they ended up coming. And
Nice.
but they ended up getting like super stoned and drunk before they went to go see it, and they were just dying laughing.
Nice.
And I thought that was such a cool anecdote, like because like
Yeah,
that's you know like we
It's
do
just
stuff
people.
like
You
that,
gotta
like
At the end
hustle.
of the
promote
day,
ourselves to
Yeah.
you know get movies out there or artwork or music or
Music,
whatever. But like yeah,
Yeah.
it's really
That's
cool
cool.
being a fly on the wall for.
Well, that was like
stuff
the
that, too.
first night of shooting Platonic. Josh Brolin was at the bar that night, and
Mhm.
it was kind of like,
You ask him if you
Yeah,
want
and he
that's
thought,
in
yeah,
that-
because we were
That's
rolling
in
in.
that area of town, like
Yeah.
Malibu and all that.
Yeah.
That like where those people.
We were rolling in all our gear and bringing it all in. He goes, "So what are you guys doing?" And I was like, "Oh, we're shooting a web series in here after we close down." Oh, that's cool, man. I was like, I should have just been like, "You want to be a guy?" Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Want to be an asshole dude
It's
at the
SAG.
bar?
It was actually. So yeah, you want to do
I
it?
mean, yeah,
Yeah.
why not?
And I mean that was like Josh Brolin on the way back up. So this would have been like No Country for Old Men
Mm-hmm.
Brolin. So but before Thanos / Cable Brolin. So yeah.
Sure.
Pre Sicario.
Yeah. Which rewatched
Yeah,
that one too. Deadpool 2. Good night. He's good in that. Like that's just a good movie. Just like
He was a great cast for Cable.
Yeah, but the whole movie's just really good, man.
Well, I mean,
So
both of the Deadpool movies, like obviously the first one was made for a lot less money. I'm like, they shine at the number one thing movies should do is just be entertaining.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It nails that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So funny.
Absolutely.
And then because it pokes fun at all the things that you want to poke fun at when you take things too seriously, and that's what makes it great. Just that
Yeah.
moment where he's like complaining and he's in Xavier's school and he's just like complaining that Marvel doesn't have the budget to pay for having any better X-Men in it. And then, you know, he rolls by in the door and
one
they're all
shot.
in there and he closes the door. It's like, good for you. Like, you killed it, man.
Yeah.
It's just hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and that was kind of a callback to the first movie, you
Right.
know, which I think was just brilliant writing all around, you know.
Take you to see Professor. Like,
Yeah.
McAvoy or Stewart? The
Yeah.
timelines are so confusing.
Yeah, well, you don't even know which one it is anymore.
It's
Yeah.
great, man.
Yeah, those are the comedic levity that Marvel MCU kind of needed, you know.
Yeah.
I'm really curious to see a Deadpool movie under the Disney regime and see how it is
Mhm.
because they claim they're not gonna fuck with it, but I'm like,
Yeah.
are you?
Yeah, but you can't.
Yeah,
you
like
can't
they
be
didn't
on
fuck
Disney
with Star
Plus
Wars.
and have like Deadpool right next to Moana. Like that's just
Yeah.
not gonna pull
Deadpool's
it
not
off.
gonna be on
Right.
Disney Plus.
Right.
Was Deadpool 2 not when
No,
it
that
was
was
on?
pre-
That was
that was
still
pre-Disney.
20th Century Fox.
Yeah, it was
Really?
Disney.
Oh, wow. Okay. Nice.
So that- I
Not
remember-
long before Disney acquired them, but it was before.
Yeah.
I think it was in the works, but I remember reading articles that everyone was worried about Deadpool. It's like
Yeah.
they're not going to do an R-rated Deadpool like under Disney, and Disney's like, no, that movie made $1 zillion. We're
Yeah,
gonna,
we're fine.
yeah, we're gonna allow it.
Well, they'll figure out some way to put it under a different banner besides Walt Disney
Yeah.
company.
And I think
You know what I
that's
mean?
should still have some kind of 20th Century Fox flair. Not
Yeah.
just-
Well,
Or
20th
Buena
for-
Vista Entertainment was that banner for them for a
Mhm.
long time.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, Deadpool
they'll
2, I think,
figure
is
out a
one of the
way.
best. I mean, it's one of the best of all the superhero movies that Marvel's done. I mean,
Yeah.
I think without a doubt,
It's
just as a
certainly the most
movie.
fun and most entertaining.
Yeah. So, Nick killed it with the last one. What was the last one called? Where Tone died?
What?
Endgame.
We talking
Endgame.
about Deadpool?
No, Endgame. That was a good
Yeah,
one. You know,
yeah.
they're
Where
part of that. whole thing.
Tone
Where Tone died.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
you
confused
totally
me with the
lost
Tone
it.
Tone.
I know where
yeah.
Tone died.
Yeah. Oh,
But-
yeah.
About 4
Yeah, but
inches up.
Endgame.
We know where about 6
Endgame, like, you
Tones
had to
died.
have,
Yeah.
like, you had to have all of that experience with the MCU in order for it to be effective.
You can't
Or to
start
drive
at
home.
Endgame.
Yeah,
And don't start at Deadpool
because like
either.
you
yeah.
have to know the stakes, you know, and everything that they've fought for, and everything that they've lost.
Well,
You
yeah, 'cause
know,
the
in
first
order,
15 minutes of that is like an in memoriam.
Yeah.
right?
Oh,
So
yeah.
it's like if you were to pop
So,
into Endgame cold, it'd be like,
What?
what is
And I
this?
think
Schindler's
that's-
List? What the hell is going on?
And that's the tough thing where even my
Yeah.
friends, like months after, were like, how's this going to play? My friends out here, who are just
Mhm.
East Coast assholes. But they're like, they're just like, there's going to be no context. How are kids going to watch this in 5 years? And I was like, oh, whatever. And I'm like, oh, yeah, it's true. Like, if that just
Yeah.
pops up on TV and someone doesn't know what they're watching, they're going to be like,
Oh,
Yeah.
what's happening?
thank you for the segue. The snap.
The snap. You were
Hey,
going to
so-
complain
yeah,
about the
we're
snap.
back to the
What's your
snap.
So I
feeling?
like
You're
I
welcome,
recently-
everyone.
the snap.
We're back into the snap.
To the snapper.
So I recently redid the universe, watched the whole thing.
Yeah.
I did the
Sounds exhausting.
Eric doesn't know.
Mhm.
I have a thing with logistics in films, and like if a logistics
Okay.
film falls apart, I'm out.
Okay.
So they've set a
Sorry,
precedent
that's
that when
odor here.
the snap is unsnapped, everyone just comes back to where they were.
When
they did
Hulk
it. They did.
unsnaps,
Yeah, when
every-
Hulk unsnaps, everyone comes back, which is fine. That's great. But like with WandaVision, that the agent pops back up in the hospital bed right where she thought her mom was. When they unsnap in the Spider-Man, there's people in like the bleachers and the band is running into the basketball team, etc.
Mm-hmm.
When you watch the snap in Infinity Wars, there are airplanes that crash, there are helicopters that crash. So I was thinking about like,
Oh, man.
oh my
bunch
god,
of
can you
people
imagine
died.
the people that died because they were like on a plane or underwater, or even the
Right.
fact of like splinching where somebody was walking through an empty parking lot and now there's a car there and like it's
Yeah, like
that was
how
my
does
comment
that
on the
actually
snap.
work?
They didn't show any of
Yeah,
that,
how
did
does that
they?
work?
Yeah, it's like there was a
No.
lot of not everyone survived the unsnap. That's all I have to say.
So did it take a So
It just took a
put
rewatching
everyone
for me.
back where they would have been 3
Yep.
years ago. So if
Yep.
a building had been demolished and you were on the 7th floor and
Tough
you
shit.
unsnapped, then you unsnap in the
still
middle
dead.
of
You
Gonna
fell
fall
70
Yeah.
feet.
from-
and died.
You were sitting on a toilet before the snap, and then afterwards you're falling.
That sounds like a hilarious Deadpool 3. That's what that sounds like.
The unsnapping.
Yeah.
Ryan, are you
Yeah, the
listening?
unsnapping.
Yeah, Ryan, are you listening? Well, he
Yeah,
could be
it
one of our
it
2
caught
viewers.
me as I was watching it. I'm just like, they're so happy because everyone's back, but it's like, ooh, no, not everyone's back because
Mhm.
there are people like
Yeah.
in cars driving on streets. Like somebody just resnapped in the middle of traffic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What if somebody
And maybe
was sitting in that chair that she rematerialized in? Does she rematerialize inside that person?
Right.
Or
Yeah,
on
that's what
his
I
or
mean,
her
like,
lap?
Gather into each other.
Splinch in.
yeah. Yeah.
So it's a dark. The unsnapping was a good idea, but it's a real dark. It's like the genie wish. You gotta be very specific about the genie wish.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and Marvel has been towing the line with darkness on stuff.
They
Oh,
did a
yeah.
good job.
Yeah,
though.
like there's violence and everything, but there's not blood. You know, you don't
Except
really
for Guardians of the Galaxy,
save for the
which I
fact
hate.
with like Guardians of the Galaxy or like the
Yeah.
in Endgame
Yeah.
with Tony Stark, but like it's not gratuitous or anything.
Yeah, there's
No,
not rivers.
gore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Except
But
for
like
Guardians.
DC, however, does that. DC
Oh, it's
movies
in the
are a
Snyder
little more
Cut.
dark and bloody and everything.
Snyder
yeah.
Cut got bloody
Way
from what I
more
understand. Yeah.
Yeah,
Snyder
way
Cut
more
needs to
violent.
look out for a sequel to Jaws when when Steppenwolf goes to get the mother box from the Atlanteans. He chums the water. I'll just put it that way.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm interested.
So that's what I was gonna
Yeah.
say too. My brother Luke pointed this out. He was like, he just texted me. He was watching Snyder Cut, and this is in the original as well. And I got the text, and I was like, "What?" And it just said, "It said Aquaman littering in the ocean," and I was like, "Wait a second." There's that like when you first see Aquaman, he's walking in, he takes that bottle and he drinks it, and then he breaks it on the pier. I was like, "What a dick!"
Man, that never connected to me. Damn.
Yeah. It was just
That's
too
not
cool.
that's not the worst Aquaman offense. We've talked about how
Yeah.
He's
the
been
timeline
mainlanding,
is a little
27.
awkward of how he knows Mira and then doesn't know Mira and then all of a sudden is betrothed to Mira and then wait, which suit is he wearing now? Like that.
Well,
his whole
the
timeline
DC
is-
universe, like they've like fumbled it so bad, they're just like, okay, we fucked it up so much. We're just gonna do, Rob Pattinson, you go be Batman over here.
Mhm.
We'll do Batfleck over here, and we'll
Have
probably do another
Joker
Batman
over
here.
here.
You know,
Yeah, they're kind of
like-
piecemealing it all together.
like we've
They don't
screwed
have
it
a
up so
plan.
bad, we can just do whatever.
It's
Yeah.
messy.
Yeah.
You know how the X-Men have, alternate
Multiple
realities?
universes?
That's
Right.
us.
That's us. But it's not.
And to kind of segue back to the whole Bat in the Sun thing, would-
Okay, name drop.
I would truly would love to see people like Aaron and Sean, helming those types of things. Like they're fans at the core, like they have a million fucking comic books. Their apartment is a shrine to all things pop culture, but like they're fans at the core, and I think like you got to get fans in there. Like Zack Snyder's probably a fan of Batman and DC Comics, but like he's also a filmmaker and business oriented and stuff
Right.
like that. And you have a big studio saying, no, we got to do it this way in order for this movie to sell based
Right.
off of, like screen tests and whatever, but like,
focus groups, blah blah blah.
yeah, focus groups. Yeah. But like
me a focus
Aaron,
group.
like, has read all these comic books. He's like indoctrinated heavily by that storytelling, and he knows all the details, and it's those details that they've been missing out on,
Mhm.
Well,
because they're
especially
too
when they're-
focused on trying to sell a movie or like whatever, about the business side. They're not telling a story like Marvel does.
especially now that like Warner Brothers is like, well, we've had some problems. What's Michael Keaton doing? Does he want to, put the
Let's
cowl on again?
Let's get him.
Yeah.
Let's get
Which
him
is
in.
exciting, and
Is that a thing?
yeah,
Yeah.
it is a thing.
It's a
Yeah,
Flashpoint
he's
movie.
going to reprise his role as Batman. But I'm also slightly excited about the Batman with Robert Pattinson. And the only reason why I am is because of the trailer. And I think that it's going to capture some of the things about Batman that we love as the comic book fans,
Well,
where it's going to be more of a detective oriented story, and it's going to be dark and brutal,
Mhm.
well, what I'm gonna say about Rob Batts is trigger warning, Matt, Nick. Twilight aside, we
Bat
won't talk about
myself
that, but I
right
kind of
now.
love what that guy's done with his career. Like he actually can act like the Lost City of Zed. Have you guys ever seen that movie?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, or The Lighthouse, dude. Like,
Yeah,
he
like-
No, he's
crushed it
great. I love
in
him.
that movie.
The
He's
dude can act.
awesome.
Like I think it's
He
gonna.
can
I think,
act.
I think we're gonna be okay.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah,
trailer,
I think we
the trailer
will.
was encouraging.
Mhm.
Like,
Well,
you're not going to
my-
get the imposing size of Ben Affleck Batman, but I think he's still going to be able to handle the role.
We don't
know?
need the imposing size of Ben Affleck. I love Ben.
What?
I love Ben Affleck. Don't get me wrong, but
Batman's got to be scary, So if
He's
Robert
not scary.
Pattinson can, yeah, I mean that's part of his essence, though.
He's chubby.
Yeah, but
You know,
he's
the
just
bat
like-
signal is always on just to like have this threat about Batman being around because he's a scary guy
yeah.
to people that are bad.
To the
But
back.
people that are good, have nothing to worry about.
Why
Well, the
did you
minute
say it
when
was
we
a
got-
trigger warning?
We
Just don't be bad.
Oh, here's a Tenet comment in there.
Oh, gotcha. No, I think Pattinson's awesome. I love that guy.
Yeah, it's just the whole thing of
I think he is too.
I haven't watched the Snyder Cut yet. Like I said, I'm gonna watch it because it's just morbid curiosity.
Mm.
And I just love, like, I have some friends from back home that love Zack Snyder, so I love to get on their posts about Snyder Cut and be like, it's still gonna suck. Just so you guys know it, right? And Batman vs Superman was a goddamn travesty, and the whole nightmare
a
Batman
travesty.
thing, like
Mhm.
out in the desert, like post-apocalyptic in the desert, Batman was
Yeah.
like,
Oh, well,
come
buckle up for
on.
that.
Huh?
I love
Never
that
mind.
costume though.
Yeah.
The costume's
And-
cool.
Yeah, I never really got down with that.
You're gonna love the epilogue of Snyder Cut.
Right.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
never against Batfleck, but like with like an actual filmmaker that is good at what he does to do, like they should have just Batfleck should have just directed himself in a Batman movie like they originally gonna do.
Not bad idea. Just make it like the town.
Wait, what?
Because like Affleck
For real?
Yeah.
was on his way at least for a while to like, in
Mm.
my opinion, being like Scorsese level,
Mhm.
like the movie The Town and everything like
yeah,
that.
the
I'm like,
town and Argo.
Argo was
like,
great.
that dude can
Love
direct,
Argo.
man.
Homeboy
Yeah.
can direct.
Um,
It's like just let him do Batman.
What's that other
Mhm.
movie? Not Gone Girl.
Is it
Gone Baby
Baby
Gone. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gone Baby Gone, man. That movie is really good.
Yeah.
Really good
he's,
storytelling.
He's solid, man.
Yeah, Homeboy
man.
can direct. So just like I wonder why he didn't end up directing his own Batman movie. I wonder if they didn't want him to.
That
or he
would've been
didn't want
rad.
to.
Well, I think
That would've been rad.
exhaustion probably too, like
Probably.
to play the part
Yeah.
and also direct yourself playing the part
Sure.
would be a lot.
Sure.
Yeah, because I mean, like
Oh.
talk to anyone. Like I've heard like Cheadle, he directed himself doing the Miles Davis movie, and who was the other one? Listen to like some podcasts where they were just like, "Yep, not gonna do that again. It's not Crocodile Dundee." So when you're playing like a real character,
Mhm.
it's
And then also when
hard.
you're in that suit, sweating
Yeah,
your ass
yeah,
off,
seriously.
and
Yeah,
then you're
go
also
go run back to Video Village to watch playback in your bat suit. Yeah.
Then maybe
Well,
he
and I
could have
was-
just directed it. But
Mm-hmm.
And I was told by Aaron
Pats.
when we were making Dying is Easy that they spent something close to $1 million for the suit for Justice League
Jeez.
I'd
because it
imagine
had like the one that he had for Batman versus Superman was like $100,000, but they added like a cooling system inside of the suit so that he could wear it full time.
Yeah.
So,
Wow.
I believe
they didn't have to do those 20-minute breaks like we had to do on our short, you know. So like he could literally wear the suit and be comfortable and not die.
Dang.
Then you're
But,
also
yeah.
building stuntman suits and
Mm-hmm.
like,
Sure, yeah.
Lots of suits.
you know, and duplicates, you know, in case
Mhm.
something breaks, you know.
or
Yeah.
battle damage. Oh, we need
Mhm.
suits 1
Yeah,
through
for
7 to show the
continuity.
progression
Yeah.
of the movie. Yeah.
Yep.
For sure.
Yep.
Woof.
Get the Die Hard tank top.
Speaking of, I was gonna show you guys this. Da, 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 da,
Oh.
da, da, da. But look what's
That looks like a good size.
it is a good
Can you
size.
get your head in there?
Bum, bum,
That's what she said.
bum. It's a
Uh-oh.
halvesy helmet. So Zach, my brother, made this. We're gonna use it, but I'm gonna have the character basically like if it's me or my brother or whoever, just wear it on the front, and so all the shots will essentially be like from the front. Because look at the way that the helmet was actually designed is like that is not a human
Cut your
sized
neck off.
neck hole. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even know how but
Hey man, work smarter, not harder.
yeah,
right?
exactly. So, because my initial
I don't
thought
know
for the
what this one is.
what is that? Can you wear that one or not?
Yes, I
Oh, you
can put
can.
it on my head.
So it's probably because this one is 1-to-1. So this
He's
is
gonna
the
pass out.
actual
Mine's
size.
might be.
He's
too big.
making a new one that's like 120%, I think.
Okay.
So a little bit
Slightly
bigger.
larger.
Yeah.
Are we making a Star Wars fan film? Because I really want to edit something like that.
Yes.
I'm so
I'd
bored.
love
Yes,
to
we are.
shoot it. Wink, wink.
Yes.
I'll be shooting some live action finally for my thing.
Are you shooting
Can
it
I
finally?
please cut it?
Finally doing your thing.
Sure.
When
I
are
do
you
it for a
doing
living.
Send you the script. Actually, I have a lean, mean script finally.
I still want to play a
like
character though. I want to
5
play your like a Jedi or something.
Guys,
I
I
got all the
write the
I got all the
checks.
costumes.
I edit for a living.
Yes,
I
you do.
will give you
People
the
pay me
shit I
money to
shoot.
do it.
Oh,
Idiots.
I will give you the shit I shoot. Don't worry.
Yeah.
This pile of
I'm
crap.
not arguing.
Yeah. Yeah, you can have it. It's not going to be organized, but you can have it. But yeah, this one's going to be just for like a YouTube video. But I really want to shoot the smugglers thing at some point in time.
I'll
in
get
the
on
near
a plane
future.
right meow.
All right,
Come
let's
to,
do
come
it.
to Colorado.
Let's
I
do
got
it.
I got my second vaccine. Let's do this.
Let's go.
Yeah, I got my first shot.
Yeah,
I got
you
my-
have
Hey, good for you
two?
guys.
I have 0.
I got my
Zero as well.
I
I
work
put
for
groceries on a shelf in the mornings
I
You're
work for a large
immune. You got
company
plastic
that
up your butt.
is very public facing.
I have a health condition that would make COVID harder on me should I get COVID.
All right.
What is it? Chiggers?
Huh?
What do you got?
Chiggers.
Anal warts.
I don't want to talk about this on YouTube.
Okay.
This is a HIPAA violation. You can't talk about it.
Yeah, it's
No,
a
I-
violation, bro.
No, I thought you were gonna say like just a thing, but yeah. But Aric, you should get it. You're a what do you call those things? Essential.
I'm around human beings all the
Yeah,
time.
you're extremely essential.
All my jobs.
Yeah, I was actually supposed to get my first one tomorrow. Well, not supposed to. It was just like the hospital here just has like overflow, you know. Sometimes since it's Pfizer, like can't blah blah blah. So my mom texted me, but the thing is like, so nobody's really had like too many like symptoms or whatever. But my dad, he and I had COVID at the same time. It affected us both exactly the same way. He got his shot recently, and like the next day he was like legit like sick, because like we were talking about Nick
how I
earlier,
was
like it was like
yesterday.
fighting
Yeah.
it, and like so I was supposed to get it tomorrow, and then I'm going to hang out with Sarah on Saturday. She just bought a house, by the way, which is super exciting. So we're gonna kind of
That's
celebrate and stuff. So I was like, I'm not
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
get a COVID shot and then go hang out on Saturday, potentially be like, you know, dead to the world. So I'll just wait
Yeah.
on it. I've had it already. I'm sure I'm fine. We'll
Too
see.
tight.
Bless
Yeah,
your little
I
heart.
got it yesterday morning and I was down all day.
Bless your heart. Yeah.
That's
see.
which one did you get? Do you know?
Moderna.
Moderna's knocked a lot of people down.
I have heard that.
That's what I've heard too.
I have Pfizer.
But then guess what?
Yeah, my parents got Pfizer.
Pick it up
Or my
again.
mom got Moderna, but it didn't affect her much. But my dad didn't get affected by anything. Or both.
Yeah, I just don't.
I mean, I've had COVID, so
Oh, you had COVID? I didn't know that.
I'm pretty sure
At
I've
least
had
you
it
think
twice.
so, right? Yeah, right.
Oh my gosh.
Well, you might
I
have had
had
it
it-
like January.
Early last year, and then I had it, and I had what felt like COVID in January, but by the time I took the test, it was negative. But like, I'm pretty sure I had it. It was freaking miserable.
Mm.
Damn.
Did you get an antibody
Brutal.
test or no?
No, I need to. I don't. I don't want to go around. I don't want to go anywhere that could potentially have it.
Yeah.
My thing.
Yeah.
Sure, makes sense.
No, I feel you.
Uh,
Yeah. Masks are becoming non-essential out here soon. So
That's. I
The
was
world's
talking with
nice,
somebody about
dude.
that. If we can talk about other shit for a while, I've gotten so used to the mask thing that it personally doesn't even bother me. To the
I'm
like
just
I
used to it.
yeah, it's one of those things like you kind of do it, you pop it in. Like, is it convenient? No, but is it the end of the world? Also, no.
I might wear one on a plane all the time now because I think it's great. I haven't smelled
Right?
another person's breath in so long. It's wonderful. Like I
Yeah.
might just like live that way for
Right, there's
forever.
certain
We all look
situations
better
where
when
it's
we
like
do this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
I think it's hot.
yeah, there's certain situations where it's like it just might be a thing, and I'm not mad at that.
Mhm.
But
I don't think they're ever going to completely go away. At least not for a
I
while.
don't think they will either.
Yeah, we're the new.
well,
Asians.
this is gonna be like the Demolition Man thing where there's one virus and then we cured it and then another one came and then another one came and then another one came and another one came, so you just never get out of the
Mhm.
cycle.
Like I think the handshake is dead. Like it's elbow bumps from now on.
Yeah.
It's fine with
I
me.
think we can just
Yeah.
bow. Can we just
Yeah,
bow?
it's-
Or is
Sure.
that
Oh.
Is that appropriation?
White
the
people
cultural
appropriation.
appropriation.
We can rub each other's
But, like,
noses.
so what will we use to like judge or like criticize a person?
Just
like
pull
we
your
did with a
penis
handshake.
Just like
Yeah, the social
Just
distance penis
throw your
drop.
poop in
Yeah.
their face.
We could always like figure
But
out
you know
how
what I
many
mean?
Iron
Like,
Men
you-
we can
you
fit.
shake somebody's
right.
hand and you like the limp
How many Iron
handshake
Man are
feels
you?
really
Right,
weird.
you're
you know?
sizing a person up with the handshake.
Yeah,
What
you
is it
kind of
now?
size a person up. Yeah. So is it
How
now we
bony
size it
their
up
elbow
based
They're
on
gonna
whether they go to
install-
the elbow or the fist bump?
oh
Like,
I
yeah,
think
right.
it's the genie.
know?
Like I dream a genie.
little
We all have
nose
to wiggle
twinkle.
our nose.
It's gonna be like
Yeah.
3 seashells,
Three seashells.
or like those
He
old.
doesn't know how to
timey,
use
like,
the seashells.
like the
Yeah,
arm wrestling
yeah,
thing
he's
at
weird.
the arcades where there'll be a mannequin arm and you shake the mannequin arm and it gives you like a 1 through 10 rating.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, a surrogate handshake.
Right.
Kind of like the thing where you punch the bag and it tells you how strong your punches are, but it's
Yeah,
a
that's what I was
handshake.
exactly.
thinking, or the thing.
Although that's a thing, I think they have it at Casa Bonita. It's like where you grip it, and it tells you how much of a lover
the
you
grip
are.
strength.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
The love tester.
Yeah, the love tester.
Love tester.
I
Yeah.
wonder if those are actually accurate.
It tells you how rapey you are.
Yeah.
Rapey.
10 out of 10 would climb into window.
High score, you're gonna have a bad time.
10
Yeah.
out of 10 in a tree with
Yeah,
binoculars.
8 or higher, they just alert the police. So.
He may or may not have tranquilizers on him right now.
Hey, speaking
Oh,
of,
dude, you just triggered an Amber Alert.
you're
we've never
welcome.
seen that before.
Yeah,
No,
you
give
get
me
the
my
full score,
prize.
like the police have been called.
The Night Stalker doc on Netflix is actually pretty good. That's where, speaking of rapey.
Yeah, that one's definitely good.
Yeah.
It's creepy.
Yeah, super creepy. Like, really creepy.
And-
but it was a good one.
Same
Yeah.
for the
bet
one
he had good
about
grip.
the oh crap, what was the name of that hotel,
The Hotel Cecile or whatever.
the Cecil Hotel.
Cecil
Yeah,
Hotel, that's a
it's-
doc?
It's really close to me, by the way.
Yeah, it is very close to you. It's probably within like 5-minute walking distance.
Yeah,
right?
but it's closed right now. I'm like, damn, I don't want to
it's
go in there.
closed. But
It's
so
on,
Richard
on the
Ramirez,
Netflix?
Huh?
yeah,
Is that
it's on
on
the
the
Netflix
Netflix?
as well.
I'll have to
Yeah,
put that on the queue.
Reason why I bring it up is because Richard Ramirez, when he was on his whole spree,
Yeah, he
was
stayed there.
staying at the Cecil. And the Cecil Hotel, it has this whole weird little mythology about death. Like it's haunted. It's been this hotbed of suicides since like the 20s or whatever. But there was this woman who was mysteriously murdered there back in like, what was it, 2016 or something?
2013.
Yeah.
2013. And she was found in the water tank on the roof of the hotel, and they don't have any footage or evidence of
Or
who
the
did it.
footage they have is very suspicious. Like
The footage
it's
is
almost
really
like
suspicious.
extraterrestrial, like paranormal.
Yeah, like
Very
paranormal
least
type
she's
shit.
tripping
Yeah,
balls.
yeah. But yeah, watch
How'd
both of
you
them. They were both
get
very good
into
docs.
a tank like that.
Well, so without spoiling it, she wasn't necessarily of even mind, and
Yeah.
should have been on medication but was not. So
Right.
without
Or
giving the rest.
was it that, or was she on a different medication? Or was
She was
something
off her
weird where
meds.
she was off her meds.
She was
like
off.
the balance was off
Yep.
chemically. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So she could have been talking to Poseidon. Who knows?
Yeah. who
Prone to
knows?
climb a ladder.
Mhm.
But that's why the footage is so makes it look paranormal, because she's looking into corners, she's having full conversations, she's just like
Mhm.
bugging out the whole time.
Oh, you're
Yeah,
talking about
she's
the
like
elevator
hiding
lady.
in the elevator.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And that's the hotel that
Yep.
is by
Yeah.
you, Brian?
Yeah, she's
Mhm.
so.
That's kind of crazy.
Yep.
Kind of creepy.
When it reopens, I want to go stay a night there. Just to
Yeah.
see- I just want to see what the vibes are like.
Yeah.
That's where you should watch the Snyder Cut. Do they have HBO?
Just call
That's
them
way
first.
too terrifying, bro.
Find out. Hey, do you guys have
They might have a
HBO?
vibrating bed or something, but I don't know about HBO.
Yeah, right.
Is it that kind of hotel?
It's
I
like
think it's
a-
every kind of hotel.
Yeah, it's all the
Yeah.
hotels. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a low income type place for like you can rent by the week or the month sort of deal.
Gotcha. Is there
Yeah.
any other kind? I
Hmm.
don't know. Yeah, you can watch the Snyder Cut there. Ah, no. That's the week that we'll do Lord of the Rings. And you can spend your night at the Cecil Hotel watching Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, they'll find me in the fucking water tank.
With a belt
Yet
around
another
your neck.
suicide statistic.
A
for the
Los
Cecil.
Angeles man was found dead, clutching a Blockbuster videotape of Lord of the Rings.
Oh man.
With a-
Oh, that was horrible. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
It's
Yeah,
okay.
That's a good story. I like
Yeah. All right, boys, why don't we wrap this up?
it. Yeah.
Any parting thoughts before
Sounds
we
good.
call it a night? Eric with
Oh,
an A,
no,
thank you
Eric,
for help.
thank you,
Thank you
sir.
for joining
That was
us.
Awesome.
It was a
No,
pleasure.
of course, man. This was a
You're
pleasure.
welcome back
I had a blast.
whenever.
Thank you for
I'd love
walking
to
us
be
through
back.
the whole process. Is wonderful
Sure.
and fascinating. We're all super stoked for you and excited for the next project, and
Hey,
super
thank
proud
you.
of you, man.
Thank
yeah. Yeah.
I've watched
Thank
it at
you.
least
Really
10
means a lot.
times. So
Hey,
Killed
all
it.
right. So
of
you're
those
contributing to that view
4+
count.
million
Right.
views, I got you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome.
That
Hey,
ad
well, I
revenue is
appreciate it, man.
20% Nick. So
That's right. It's like our podcast. I'll watch it like 10
Hey.
times just
yeah,
to keep
I
the
only
numbers
watch my
moving.
own videos, so same reason. Yeah. Like that Matt
Well, I
guy, he's
appreciate
smart.
it, man.
Yeah,
Seriously.
you're killing it, dude. We're really proud of you.
Hey.
Well done.
Yep.
Well done.
And I'm glad you liked it. You know, it's
Yeah.
like, you know, when you get in the filmmaking game, like you have to make a lot of really shitty movies before you start making ones that are kind of okay, and then they're kind of okay for a while
Yeah.
until they become really okay, and then, you know, like it's a progression.
Yeah.
So it feels good actually making something that people watch and
Mhm.
you know, give a shit about.
It's the whole
And wanna
Aric
talk
Glass
about
The
thing.
craft.
You gotta
Yeah.
work hard till your talent or till your skill catches up with your taste. You know, that's
Yeah,
kind of thing.
you know?
So, yeah,
Yeah, it really means a lot.
definitely.
It really means a lot to me.
And thank you to everyone out there who's listened and been listening to us. Do find us on the Facebook, on YouTube, Smoking Hot Nerds Podcast, on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify. We would appreciate a subscribe. Looks like the Brady Bunch thing you're doing with your head. Looks good.
I'm pretending you're gonna insert all those.
Yeah. Boop,
titles
boop, 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 boop,
there
boop,
and
boop,
over
boop, boop. I did do just a big old podcast drop recently and
Just
cleaned up the
drop it right
podcast. Yeah. Dropped it. The old Iron Man drop. Drop plop. All right, everyone. Thanks for listening, and we will see you